Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't hoot her Sherlock! I mean, don't shoot Herlock! No, it's too late. You came to the wrong stream, buddy. No! Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney 2. If you are here looking for the first part, that's already been up. If you're here on the YouTube, or if you're here a day late on the Twitch, I played the first part of Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve yesterday, and boy oh boy did Capcom ever deliver on their promises. They are just as good as localizing Ace Attorney as I remember them being. Haven't lost their edge at all. Names are just as punny. The jokes are just as jokey. And you know, there are still some questionable localization decisions, but you know what? I enjoy such things. Frickin' Eggert Benedict. And yeah, welcome back. Last time, we encountered some old friends, a certain detective and a certain writer, and a certain lady that likes to tell people to shut up. What can I say? What can I say? At this point, we've crossed the threshold for spoilers, so you know. I can't believe they open up with Giselle Brett being the first victim. But you know what? What better way to start? Calling back in so many ways to the first Great Ace Attorney, and I can't wait to see what's going on here? Who has something against her and why? So, you know, get your traditional English lunches out. Get all nice and full up on your hamburgers. No, I guess that's not English. Eat your fish and chips, Ryunosuke. And eat your chicken asogi. Because we're heading back, baby. Let's go. So we're continuing. I did actually, hold on, before I get away from this screen. I did take a look at what some of this extra content was, because I noticed it at the end of the last stream. It's gonna be a little bit awkward when I want to present this stuff. We had looked at some of the music in the gallery. Taylor's like DLC costumes. I want to play a little bit with the regular costumes first. Escapades are interesting. They're like these little extra episodes that take place in between parts of the first game. Like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, there's the ship, and there's the Japanese courtroom, there's the loft, there's Herlock's offices. So, like, I'm not sure when's the best time for me to look through these on stream, because I'm playing the second game, which is way already after all of this. Maybe later, maybe next time. For now, we gotta see the thrilling conclusion of episode 1. Continue! Yeah. Was that something that's new for this collection? Or was it somehow part of the 3DS game, I wonder? If so, I wonder why I missed it. Maybe it was DLC that I couldn't get. But yeah, court recess, and we're back. We've called the reporter that took that picture with the broken camera lens to the stand, and he's gonna tell us all. 13th August, 10:41 a.m., Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber 3. Music slaps. It still does. Like, I realized that these songs were written, like, 4 years ago now. Can you believe that the second Great Ace Attorney came out 2017? In August. I looked it up. It's after the Switch was already a thing. I didn't realize it was so late, but also, like, it kind of makes sense why it never came over here until now. Ray! I remember her.
I'm so sorry, Susato.
Why are you sorry? Well, I guess she was withholding information, but at this point I'm used to it from Ace Attorney defendants.
I should have told you about the toxin.
The deadly neurotoxin.
Hey.
You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decided to shoulder the burden alone.
But this is a court of law, and we need every bit of information we can get.
No, that's not it at all. I was scared of my failure coming to light, that's all.
The poison, the curare. Sadly, they haven't confirmed whether it's not, but they said it was a new poison. How do we pronounce curare? Does anybody know?
So I helped retrieve the substance from the English woman before anyone found out.
Curare.
That's how. Thank you, Haru. Now we know. If they give this one a different name, you know I'm looking that one up too. I wonder if I can find the same text-to-speech I used last time.
Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susato?
I can barely remember what I had for dinner. I think I had some Persian cherry rice with some beef kubure. It was pretty good.
You had no doubt in your mind about my innocence? That you stand by me to the last?
Well, she has admitted to being angry and furious at the murder of John Watson, but Wilson Watson? I don't think she committed murder. I remember.
And yet, I didn't deserve your trust in me. I had important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Susato! I deserve it! No! In fact, throw me to the floor!
No, Ray. I say the Susato toss only for those who truly deserve it. Ray, you're a good egg.
No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets!
Ray, are you okay? Are you sure you're not under the spell of my gallant and dashing look again? I'm no better, you know.
Oh!
Even though in my heart I knew that you'd pull the knife blade from Miss Brett's back, there was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you.
Susato!
I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised you that I'd stand by you and always be on your side, I betrayed your faith in me too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer.
Oh, no.
I think this situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task.
Yes, Father. The fact has certainly struck home.
Oh, I didn't expect the feels right away. I wasn't prepared. Man, in a way, this is like something we don't usually see from Ace Attorney, like this personal connection to the defendant. Like sometimes we get like, oh yeah, Larry Butt's my best friend, but it's rare that there's a real like betrayal of friendship and that little admittance that they're such close friends they shouldn't have even doubted each other. You know, like if I did say last time I didn't like Ace Attorney 5, but it did have some of those moments with Apollo and his best friend that I can't remember the name of right now. I guess I didn't remember him.
Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray. Yes?
Can you find it in your heart to forgive me?
Oh, Susato. You know you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now.
Oh, Ray. Oh. I believe it. They are the best of friends. You know, in a way, this also kind of parallels Asogi and Ryunosuke.
I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying.
Unless she was already dead by then. Like, from Ray's testimony, it's like she made that cocky smile and said something, but maybe she just thought that Giselle said something, and in her mind that was like, actually like the breath escaping. Like in reality, that was the breath escaping her body as she was already dying. We need to get a more accurate description of what was happening.
I know it was you who stole the poison!
Gangthor, thanks for the lurk. Hope you're doing good. Well now, whatever do you mean? I guess that sentence is a little too complicated for a dying breath. I don't know, maybe she's so fancy that she can just spit out these fully fledged sentences. And then a moment later,
she suddenly got to her feet.
Okay, also getting to her feet is also pretty impressive of feat for a dying person. Okay, she's fine. Well, was fine. Now is not.
before collapsing on the floor in front of me with a knife at her back.
Dang. I did notice that crack in the back of the hut. I don't know if it was wide enough to totally put the knife through there, but that moment seems to have been when the murder took place then. Right as she was talking.
It all happened right before my eyes.
And you were the only people in the hut at the time?
That's right. Just Miss Brett and myself. There was no one else. So I just don't understand how she could possibly have been stabbed like that.
A great mystery indeed.
I still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up.
It will be all right. However it happened, and whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you that I'm going to prove everything you said you saw is true.
Spoken like a true Mikotoba.
I believe it, though I barely know Mr. Mikotoba and Suzato. I know Suzato a lot better, and you know, that is spoken like Suzato.
Now I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order.
Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. If it's a new poison, can they? Yeah.
The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory synthesized blend of alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing for it.
You know, I feel like that's something that the lab should have come up with as they were developing the poison, like as some sort of ethical standard. Like engineers actually have to go through that kind of stuff, at least nowadays. Like learning about the ethics of their practice so that, you know, stuff like deadly poison leaks don't happen like this.
Oh, I see.
Yes, without the chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the toxin.
Oh, look, they have one. Okay, well, yeah, sure. Chemical reagent?
I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though, just in case.
Am I just gonna start, like, spraying this on all the evidence? Just like Phoenix Wright would have done. I'm sure that's not tampering at all. Added to court record. New poison under development, developed in secrecy.
What's the matter, Susato? You're suddenly very quiet.
Oh, you know, she just came down with protagonist syndrome. Protagonists aren't allowed to talk as much. At least by Dragon Quest rules. It's this newspaper article. Exclusive! Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret.
It was all the Englishwoman's doing!
What?
It was when the professor and Soseki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady swanned in.
Ha, swan.
And without any compunction, said to Professor Mikotoba,
Oh, Professor, surely your guest would love to hear about your work on that substance there. It's been a while since I had to do Giselle's haughty attitude.
It put me in a very awkward position, to be frank.
No, your name's not Frank, your name's Mikotoba.
But Soseki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had a little choice but to give him a cursory introduction.
So then, Soseki-san knew about the poison. You don't think maybe he's, like, lying on purpose? Like, just going with whatever Hosonaga says because he knows about the poison and is trying not to spill the beans? That's kind of you, Soseki, but we need to find the truth. Maybe that's why he's acting so weird.
Yes, and it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too.
This Mini Memo-san. I appreciate they went with changing it to an English pun, but Mini Memo doesn't sound like a Japanese name at all. Mini Memo! Even if I try to pronounce it with, like, intonation. Mini Memo. By the way, did that reporter join you all when you went to the beach?
Oh, no, I don't remember the reporter being there.
Dragon Quest is fun, murdering all the Adobo cousins. Why are you murdering chicken cousins? Unless you mean the party members in Dragon Quest 2. In which case, yes, they die a lot. If anything, I always, at least in the remake, the princess of Moonbrook keeps staying alive because she's the healer. That's how I noticed, but the Prince of Cannock definitely can't survive more than a couple of turns. It's very sad.
Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there.
Oh?
A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Soseki-san pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office.
And yet they got the scoop somehow. Yet he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took this very candid photograph. So, I'm guessing the first thing we're gonna do as part of this episode is try to pin the blame on him, but I don't 100% think that he did it. There might be another party, but who knows how complex the first episode of an Ace Attorney game can be. And then presumably he posted it anonymously to the police. Posted, literally. For a second I'm like, posted it to Twitter? Yes, he posted it under an anonymous throwaway account.
Yes, that must be what happened.
How is there Twitter in this day and age?
Oh, well, you know, it's this new invention by that Herlock Sholmes fellow.
He invented surveillance cameras, apparently. Sure, let's believe that he invented the internet as well. Sherlock Holmes invented Twitch. I mean, Herlock Sholmes. Counsel! We've just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed into the courtroom at once. I'm not ready.
It's time to steel ourselves.
Again with the steel. Steel yourself. I am ready.
It's time to steer ourselves once again, then. Defense attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Now, here's something that I didn't really point out. The suffix taro is kind of like one of the most generic names, endings you can put to make a word into a boy's name in Japanese. It's like if you take the suffix et and add it to a random word and then it becomes a girl's name, like Waterette. Yes, you just look at the first thing I see and add et, that is my name. I guess my name is Watterson. Yes, Watterson Wright. Yes! Ray has put her faith in me now and told me everything, so I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day.
What really happened?
Where's that Law and Order? That Law and Order transition sound. 13th August, 11:30 a.m. Supreme Court. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1. Judicature. Judge Judy. Cameras were film-based. Like, if I remember the setup from the first game, like, it wasn't totally video surveillance. He just set it up so you take pictures every, like, couple of seconds. So if you think about it that way, it's like he took very, very low frames per second video. It's like 1/5 of a frame per second, let's say. I'd still count that. You know, I've played video games with old graphics cards and got that performance.
I hereby call to the court this order as we can reconvene to continue the trial of Ray Membabi. Prosecutor Auchi, have you summoned the new witness?
Yes, I paid tribute and everything.
But the new witness is only a 4-star monster.
Oops. Well then, before I address that question, Your Excellency, I have some very important news to share.
Did you find another hair? Wow.
Oh?
What news? And why does he look so happy about it? It's gotta be more hair.
During the recess, with the collaboration of Professor Mikotoba's laboratory at Yume University, the police re-examined the knife that was used to end Miss Giselle Brett's life. Her knife life.
Excellent. I admire your rapid handling of the matter.
Oh, too kind, Your Excellency. Too kind. I was merely carrying out your instructions, of course.
I had the reagent delivered to the police headquarters by rickshaw, so we would get there in good time.
Rickshaw, huh? Fancy.
But judging by the man's swagger, I feel we might need to brace ourselves for the inevitable. He's got too much swag. Too much for one man to handle, at least not with that much hair.
And counsel, what were the results?
This dagger, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim, has no trace of poison anywhere along its blade.
No, hold on, let me just examine this real quick. He didn't say anything about using the reagent, right? ManokAdobo mentioned the reagent, but did Ouchie say they used it? He says he was carrying out the judge's instructions, that the judge didn't know.
What? Are you sure about that?
I would stake the reputation of the police on it.
Well, about that, Ouchie. I don't know if the police would want you speaking for them. Let's just say that.
Armed with the reagent, the test is extremely simple. They couldn't have made a mistake.
Or, you know, it was delivered some way besides the knife. Small knife, I found in the back, no trace of poison. That's what confused me last time. I had thought that the picture was taken right as the crime scene was. That's the point of taking pictures of the crime scene. You leave everything as it was. But for some reason they took the knife out already?
In short, the accused's feeble excuse earlier has been utterly destroyed.
So dramatic. I don't even think he's generating gusts of wind.
Now the prosecution is ready to call the new witness.
I mean, Ouchie is full of hot air.
Ah, the newspaper reporter who managed to capture a photograph of the crucial moment. Good. Very well, officer. Bring in the witness.
No trace of poison on the knife. But if that's really the case, how could the toxin have entered the victim's body? That's what we're here to find out, Ryutaro. Hey, it's him. How did I know? Write in many memo.
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
Enter these nuts. What? Are we entering these nuts into the court record? I don't know if they'll accept that, Larry. Also, what's up? Welcome. This is Write in Many Memo. He's pretty cool. I like his hair. Kinda looks like Lupin III. But he'll be Lupin the murderer if I catch him. Maybe. I'm not completely sure yet. Hope you're doing good. Welcome to the show. Hope you enjoy. What voice do I give him? What voice do I give him? Like reporter? Reporter voice. X-ray, X-ray, read all about it. Write in many memo to show you news. I'm what people like to call a journo. What's a journo, Father? Do you know? What's so funny?
Journo these nuts.
What?
Oh, you know, that'll make sense in 100 or so years.
Writing me in memo? Writing many memos, I'm guessing is the pun. Many of the memos are being written by him. Lupin's voice. Lupin III's voice. Also, what's up, Nate? Oh, man, I need to, like, get a reminder. I love Lupin III's voice actor, but I need to, get a reference. Maybe I can find a clip online. Lupin the Third. Lupin the Third. Don't. Let's hope this doesn't copyright strike me. All these videos are from sketchy websites that I'm not sure if I want to play on stream.
Tell me about it.
That's Jigen. That's
Zenigata. Pops, it's been so long. Let me kiss you all over. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh, that aftershave drives me wild. Hey, I heard you were transferred to some podunk crap hole after the last time I slipped through your...
After the last time I slipped through your fingers. That's Lupin for you.
It's simply a contraction of journalist.
I'm there when the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch those scoops so they're in print the next morning.
Oh, yeah, that is perfect.
They don't call me the hero of the Herald for nothing. The nice guy of news. What's this guy's theme? Ooh. Ooh. I like it. Kind of sounds like old-timey Japanese version of Groos's theme. It was you who took this photograph, was it? Ah, well. Well. What have we here? I'm sorry? Uh-oh, he knows. He can see right through her disguise. Ooh, brace yourselves, people. ManokAdobo senses a scoop in the offing. Female student up to foul play, defended by curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court. Oh, okay, he doesn't see through it at all. Curiously handsome, The readers will live this up. We'll send it above the fold at 72 point in a 5-leg format for the morning edition. What are you even speaking in Japanese? Are you even speaking a language, sir? Huh? Right then, let's start with your name. Oh, it's Ryu Taru Naruhodo. Next! What made you want to become a lawyer? Who's examining who? I thought I was the defense attorney. I wanted to reform our country's legal system, I suppose. Susato, you're supposed to be asking him questions. Wait a minute.
Ryutaro has suddenly become very ambitious, I see.
I just borrowed Kazuma-sama's dream for a while. It's a good dream to borrow, to be sure. You should have been dreaming of eating chicken, though.
Eat your chicken, Asogi.
But by the way, my name is Taketsuchi Ouchi. That's Uchi Kuchi Ouchi.
The so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objections strike fear into every defense lawyer's heart.
No, the readers won't buy that. What? Shut down.
Witness,
Yes?
what this court demands to know is whether or not you are responsible for the taking of this picture. And also, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? That's very important. We always forget to ask that. We always forget to ask that whenever in every Ace Attorney game, because they never do. Perjury? What's that?
It was delivered anonymously to the Imperial Police Bureau only yesterday.
Yeah? I wouldn't be a journo if I didn't click quick when I presented with a scoop like that now, would I? Sometimes stories call out to me. Sometimes I have to chase them down, but either way, you've got to be fast. Fast legs to run with and a fast head to write with. It's no good if you don't note it down, I always say. That's what I call my mini-memoism. I'm out of here. I give up. Mini-memoism?
Yes, I remember your face. We met that day when you were interviewing myself and Soseki-san.
So you remember Memo? You remember Memo on the day that Remember Me supposedly murdered a Madam Brett. I need more alliteration. What do I got? Yes, that's right. That was me. Memo again.
But you were supposed to be going back to the Shoyu news offices after our meeting.
But the scope is, I didn't. Because that Englishwoman's words had piqued my journalistic interest. Oh no, now that I've characterized him as Lupin, I can only imagine there was some other reason he went to follow her. Don't do it, Lupin. This is a PG-13 stream. Is he putting a wooden pencil on his mouth? Yeah, you're kind of supposed to do that for, like, pens, right? To get them flowing again? I think he's using a pen? No, that is a pencil. Maybe he just likes the taste of graphite. Miss Brett's words? A criminal left to do as she pleases just because she happens to be a British citizen? It's horse dung! This country's judiciary is rotten to the core! The Supreme Court's rulings aren't worth the paper they're written on! The police are just imperial pawns! Okay. Eat the rich! Wait a minute.
Stay your tongue, young man. There are complex political issues at play.
You know what? I kind of like him. Only because I gave him the Lupin voice. Now He's like a gentleman thief.
Maybe that's on purpose. Wait a minute. Dad, dang it. Maybe it is on purpose.
Maybe we see him later and he like interacts with Turlock Sholmes. Wait a minute. I'm gonna hold my tongue. Maybe I'm just imagining things. Or maybe they literally did reference Lupin III. Huh. Well, anyway, I quickly jotted down those words she said in my mini memo pad. Mini memo pad? Yeah, mini memo pad. Are you ready? I'll read it out. It's all here. Right, here goes. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. How many pencils do you have, man? A serious criminal going on some junket? The people need to know about this. That's why I decided to sneak after them. To get the woman's story, so I can hammer her in the press. Phrasing.
Do you mean to say that you did indeed witness it firsthand?
First hand, second hand, I get my stories anywhere I can.
The grim scene portrayed in this photograph?
Phrasing. Larry, we share that brain cell. Exactly. Oh, yes, I saw it with my very own journo eyes. From start to finish to the viewfinder of my trusty camera. Oh, I'm dodging. Oh, no. Hey, no, don't take a picture of me. No. Here's the plan. He'll run out of film eventually. Can you even take pictures that fast with a camera that old? Wouldn't you have to, like, make sure that it develops properly?
Thank you, Mini Memo-san. You will now give a formal testimony before the court.
Yeah, because in this day and age, they still had cameras that, like, you had to have people stay really still and then you let it expose for, like, minutes, right? I don't think his camera can work like that. I do like its old-timey look, though. It's like a pictograph box.
You will state exactly what it is that you witnessed of the events surrounding Miss Brett's death.
He's just a terrible cameraman. He's just taking pictures of, like... He takes the film out and it's just completely exposed. Because it's the same film, like, exposed over and over. Camera never lies. Da-da-da-da. The beach hut was made of shiny old reed screens, so there were plenty of gaps I could see inside through. It checks out. The English woman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her. Can we get a count of how many pencils he's broken thus far? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's, like, wood chips and graphite just in his hand. Like, you know when you get, like, a piece of pencil lead stuck in your finger and it's there for years? This guy will have, like, little pieces of pencil lead pushing out of his skin for the next decade. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the English woman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. At least 3, I think at least 5 at this point. My smoldering journal spirit burst into flames. PK fire! Quick as a flash, I whipped out my camera, ready to click. I pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked the lens through for the perfect shot. Sir, you're gonna break your suspenders. Down. Read screens, you say? To shreds, you say? Right. You can see them clearly enough in that great shot I snapped. Also checks out. You know, I mentioned it before, but Ray does look a lot like Maya. Especially here where he can be kind of like that ribbon on her head kind of looks like Maya's like knotted hair. It kind of fits that she's the one being accused of murder now. I remember I was at Anime Expo and I saw somebody cosplaying Maya Fey, and I was just like, yeah, you look like somebody that could commit murder. She did not get the joke. I felt really weird. Anyway, the hot walls were just screens made of coarsely woven reeds.
Yes, it allows the breeze to pass through and bring some relief from the summer heat.
I like that. And it was a breeze for me to poke my camera through and see the whole thing hotting up. Wait a minute. Were you actually there because you knew it was Giselle and, you know, you were trying to get the scoop? You're just trying to take a picture for changing, dude. Mini memo!
Lupin!
Ignoring for the time being the appalling invasion of privacy involved. Exactly. In a freaking beach-changing hut. Did you witness everything that happened from the moment the defendant entered the hut? Oh, yes, I saw it. I saw the whole thing from start to finish. I like Ace Attorney so much, I accuse people of murder in real life. At least it kind of made sense with her cosplay. Unless she wasn't cosplaying Maya, but I'm pretty sure she was. Like, she had the Magatama and everything. Is there an anime character out there that just looks like Maya Fey? Like, exactly, but isn't? And then I just, oops. I do see that a lot from, like, the fact that I have now played both Persona 5 and Danganronpa. When I went to anime conventions when they, were still happening, I would see people walk up to people cosplaying Junko from Danganronpa, and they're like, "Whoa, you're on! Can I take a picture?" And then they're like, "Sure, yeah, here, you can take a picture." That's not on, that's Junko Enoshima. Close enough. Also, Squidgy Mom, what's up? I don't accuse random people of murder, just that they look sus. It's fine. Gina, what's up? Is the game good? From what I played, it's pretty good. Just as good as the first Great Ace Attorney. And since, you have to buy them both together, I'd say it's a fantastic value. My recommendation. Also, welcome on in. Get comfy. And you say that you took the photograph through a gap in one of the screens? Luckily for me, they were pretty shoddily woven. I pulled the reeds apart and thrust the lens of my camera through the gap. Don't say thrust. Would I get away with it, or would I be seen? It was the gamble of a lifetime. A tenacity of purpose that's considered admirable in a journalist, I suppose. We're just gonna ignore the fact that he's taking pictures of the women's changing room. Run a risk one day, run a scoop the next. That's mini memoism in a nutshell. 2 games in 1, yeah. This is actually the second one, so mind for spoilers for the first one if you didn't realize.
At last. It would appear we have a genuine witness to this wicked crime. The evidence and testimony are extremely compelling. I believe we may be close to a verdict.
No, we're not.
No!
Wonderful news, Your Excellency. Wonderful. 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 Nevertheless, it cannot be denied that this testimony begs one very large question. What question? What the heck is many memoism? Exclusive news, a startling photograph, all the makings of an exceptional story for the reporter.
Yeah, a bit too convenient if you ask me.
Wait a minute.
This reporter would get egg on his face if he wasn't careful. What's up, Dylan? Still the first case? Yeah, pretty much. There is a lot of dialogue. It takes a bit. I will say, once I get to the cross-examination, from here on out, I'm just going to be trying to just, like, pinpoint what I think looks suspicious. Because I would love to read all the dialogue, but sometimes I don't have the time. Welcome on in. This game is very long compared to the first trilogy.
Why then was the story never published?
Oh, that's right.
Ah, well. Doesn't answer a question.
Seems clear to me that there are circumstances at play here that are yet to be understood.
Ha! More pathetic excuses.
Oh, just shut up with the ta-ha-ha. Very well then, counsel. Proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Excellency. Here we go, do or die.
There's more to this reporter than meets the eye. Something that feels like Optimus Prime. He's keeping something about this case very close to his chest.
The camera? Let's see. Is this guy a legit journalist, or is he just like a poser? I guess he looks fancy enough. He's got like a tie with a clip on it. What publication do you say you're associated with, sir? I don't know. He looks a little too smug. The beach hut was made of... Okay, I already read all this. Let's see. The part that seems suspicious to me right now, besides that glaring splotch of ink on his hand, is how he was so fast to take the picture. Let's ask about that. Oh no, now I'm sus. Now I need to cross-examine about those chickens in the corner. Scale from 1 to 10, how many Frank West vibes does he have? Not really that much. He's not covered wars, you know. We've been characterizing him as Lupin III, and that fits a lot more than I realized. Looks like he's gonna rob a money truck. Yeah, something like that. The court is fully aware of your desire to capture the incident on film, I'm sure. But why then did you choose to post the photograph anonymously to the police? 100% poser. He doesn't even take pictures right. I'm afraid I don't understand a word that's coming out of your mouth. I'm asking why, as a journalist, you decided not to make a story out of the incident? Oh, think of me as a sculptor. A sculptor who makes art out of the sordid private details of other people's lives. You're a tabloid journalist, oh no! You just follow celebrities. Dude, what are you, like a writer for one of those websites? I never discuss my own personal life on principle. I mean, that's basic mini-memoism. It's not something to boast about.
No doubt your burning desire to see the truth exposed and justice done was what motivated you.
He works for TMZ.
No, anything but that.
That's it. That's brilliant. My burning desire to see something or other exposed. I bet. You want to rephrase that? What are you exposing? This has got to be on purpose. I bet they toned down, like, a whole lot of suggestive themes of this guy's dialogue, I'll say. There has to be a good reason why he didn't think to write an article about what he saw.
Oh.
You know, I'd like to ask if he ever took any other pictures, I wonder. Let's see the whole camera reel. If your camera has a reel. He's the rival photographer from Dead Rising 1. I remember a smug photographer guy. Kinda, maybe. I need to play that game again. More Capcom games, what is this?
By your own admission, you were outside the hut. How then did you manage to take the photograph?
Ah, yes, that. I'm glad you asked. I'm gonna press this one now. Pull apart the weave.
Hold it!
Hold it! But the two women inside didn't notice? Obviously not. If they had, where would I be right now? In jail, that's where. Yes. What you think would make you reflect on what you were doing? No, a journal's job is to collect little snippets of life as unobtrusively as possible. Leave nothing but footprints. Take nothing but photos. Yes, that's spot on. All right, let's get, like, Herlock Sholmes in here to be his Zenigata. They'd be perfect for each other. Did you just make that up? Probably.
The point is, the witness risked life and limb to obtain his photograph. And this photograph reveals the whole truth. There is nothing more to be said.
He is lying about something. And he gets something more out of him. He claims to have spied the whole affair from start to finish.
If true, his testimony is devastating.
I need something that proves he didn't see the moment the stab actually happened. I'll press more about that.
If that's how you feel, I suggest that you trust your instincts and press him on everything you said.
Instincts, but also press everything. Yes. Trust your feelings, but also just check everything. Yeah. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
As you've no doubt seen done many times before in your role as judicial assistant.
Yes, I have. I've seen witnesses like this pressed often. Oh, that Ryunosuke, he systematically pressed every single statement, one at a time. I know exactly what to do.
Look at this photograph.
Da-da-da-da-da. Here we go.
Hold it!
You'd like to know why his armband has the same symbol as the pen, and why his initials are the same initials as the pen, and why this guy is so suspicious, same as the pen. Do you swear before this court that you actually saw the precise moment the stabbing took place?
Ha!
That's not his voice. Ha! The precise moment? I didn't see just that. I saw the whole hellish scene play out from start to finish.
I have here a simple plan of the beach hut.
Oh good, can I get that?
Perhaps you can use it to explain to the court exactly what you witnessed.
New evidence. Pretty important. Hey? Right you are! It's all here in my mini memo pad. Mini memo pad. Mini memo pad. When I first peered into the hut, I almost said many memo peered. I'm sure that the English woman was on this stool at the back of the hut here. Checks out.
Yes, the accused's own testimony confirmed that.
She just sat at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly, is what I have noted down. It's my turn to testify now. Try not to interrupt. I hate how much I love this guy, and I love how much I hate this guy. I think that's like the perfect blend of smug character, don't you think? Then in the next moment, as I was watching, the evil student girl entered the hut. Evil? Culprit. I think it should be like, there's a reason that courts don't use language like this. Victim, culprit. It like automatically assumes that the person standing here is the one who did it. Say like alleged culprit at least. After a while, the pair of them ended up in the middle of the hut arguing furiously. It wasn't really an argument. Hey? The English woman went for the student, but the girl dodged out of the way. And in a flash, plunged the knife into her adversary's back as the two passed each other. Now that's a little different.
What you describe is a grim crime indeed.
Never sugarcoat the truth. That's what mini memoism says. Then why are you? Your truth is more sugar-coated than a bowl of Frosted Flakes.
It's very sugary cereal.
By the way, Mini Memo-san. This is a series where the courts are guilty until innocent. Sad but true. You know, the whole point of that was to be like a parody of how Japanese courts actually worked in Japan in the 2000s. Since then, it's gotten way better, but it just makes this whole... I guess it's better that this game takes place in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Because, like, I'd believe that it was a lot more corrupt or less refined back then. Once you were watching that terrible scene unfold before your eyes through the gap in the screen, did it not occur to you to try to prevent the tragedy rather than capture it on film? It goes for a lot of viral videos on the internet. Journalists have to be observers. We can't get involved. That's our raison d'etre. Sir, you can't even pronounce French words. So you didn't converse with Miss Brett at all? Just like American courts. Aw, jeez. Obviously not. An observer always remains on the outside, looking in. And that's something to be proud of? Is it? Isn't it?
Your Excellency, if I may.
Yes, Professor.
I think the witness's last expertly phrased statement
Ooh, more statements.
should perhaps be added to his formal testimony.
Father, what are you... Maybe Professor Mikotoba should be the lawyer. Can we get a Great Ace Attorney 3 where he plays him?
I will grant the defense's request.
Mini Memo-san, you will supplement your formal testimony with the aforementioned statement.
Aforementioned statement.
Well, nihilism is the foundation of mini memoism. Are you just like collecting every ideology into one book and calling it mini memoism? You're collecting mini memos. Wow. But I'll gladly prove that my words aren't meaningless. Drooby-doo, welcome to you. Hola, señor. ¿Cómo estás? Más o menos. Welcome to, apparently Lupin the Third on stand. He's, the reporter who's got the only picture of our crime scene and, well, not the only picture, but the most incriminating one. So we're just trying to wring the truth out of him. It's taken a while. He's a pretty tough towel. Look, I can artificially increase the pencil break count. He'll run out eventually. Decades and decades of graphite in his hand. Where's that new statement? Never once set foot in the hut, nor spoke with English when there was a server. Press that. Super sus. Since he's the only other person involved he may be our prime suspect. I kind of don't want him to be. I kind of want him to appear in later episodes. But, you know, that's just how good the character writing is, you know? Yeah. Baka! Really? You didn't set foot inside the hut at all? Are you sure about that? I think you may have the wrong impression of me. We're talking about a murder scene here. My nerves were stretched to breaking point already. Sure. Oh, I see. You were scared? Maybe I did have the wrong impression of you, yes. It was all I could do to stifle a scream and hold my hand steady enough to snap the shot.
You really should have summoned help before thinking of your camera.
Yeah, thinking of a scoop before saving a life. That's his character right here. Would I rather that over him being an actual murderer? Still not completely sure. Many memoism and humanism don't always agree. What about chickenism? And most of the time in those circumstances, in those instances, many memoism comes out on top. As a sculptor of stories, sometimes I have to be cruel for my art. Yes, that's spot on. Surely he's making all this up. On the spot.
Everything he's saying is a total lie. He seems to have spied the whole affair from start to finish. If true, his testimony is devastating.
Oh, I said this already. Okay. Should never step foot inside the hut. But no, his pen. Yeah. Question, okay, well, not for the chat, but I have to be very sure about this, because Ace Attorney does this. I want to prove a connection, but I don't know if it's too early to prove the connection. So, like, yes, fountain pen, RM, but he says he never stepped in. Does this prove that he was in there? We haven't really connected it to him. Let me check the new beach hut plan as well. Layout. Oh, nothing here. My only lead is the pen. Let's hope this works.
Objection!
Yes, it does. The music stopped. You know it worked. Ah! Nothing soothes an Ace Attorney player more than music stopping. It means you're right. Mini Memo-san, until now, I've had a firm belief that newspapers are in the business of uncovering and publishing the truth. You're spot on there. The press doesn't lie, which is why I'm proud to wear the emblem of the Show You News on my arm. Okay, so yes, it is the Show You News emblem. Probably means that's the only place you can get those pens. It's gotta be his. In a way, that's more Mini Memoism. Why does Lupin have ink on his hand? You know, it might have something to do with the fact that this pen is running out of ink. A very small amount of liquid still inside. Only a very small amount. Sadly, though, it seems the journalists who write for those papers don't always share the same passion for the truth. Ooh. You don't know what's going on, but you still say that I'm probably always too early. It's a problem. You can't figure out things too fast in these games. But then you also have to, like, make sure you're not figuring them out too late. You're convinced that his suspenders are just workout bands. Hey, those are good to have on you. Like, if you had weighted clothing and then elastic workout bands for your suspenders. Well, one, it would just hike your pants up really high. So, you know, that probably ain't too good for your family jewels, but, you know, that's why you gotta pull extra hard to just stop them from riding up your pants. Oh, no. Otherwise, there wouldn't be many more mini memos to come.
What are you suggesting with those recriminatory words, Counsel?
Mini Memo-san, do you recognize this fountain pen? You can't deny it now. This pen was found at the scene of Miss Brett's death. In fact, the murdered victim was gripping it in her hand as she died.
What are you?
If you look at the barrel of the pen, you'll notice that its owner's initials are engraved there. R.M.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Counsel. The initials of the accused. Remember me.
I should say Ray-Membami. At least it sounds more like a name. Is it a coincidence, I wonder? That your initials are also R.M.? That's obviously localized. I guess whatever their names are in Japanese have to begin with the same kanji or with the same kana. Unless they did use English letters, that could kind of also work. Your initials are also RM?
No!
Write in many memo. RM. That's horse dung! Poop! Can't you see? One of the central tenets of mini memoism is being a pencil user. You're just saying that because you lost your pen, isn't it? Isn't it? Here we go, pointing out what everybody noticed. This is one of the things that I'm glad they do because you can only really do this with 3D models. Like, yeah, you can put a smudge on the 2D sprite, but it's easier to just swap out a texture. And yet, as the court will clearly be able to see on your right hand, there's a very obvious blue ink stain.
It would appear that you have rather carelessly left it somewhere recently. Your favorite fountain pen, that is.
Should have cleaned himself. Well, I mean, like, ink stains. It's probably gonna be on his hand for a while. I remember when I was a kid, I used to write on my own hands with pens all the time, and they wouldn't really wash off until like weeks later. Horsey horse dung! Many Memo-san, is it not the case that before she died, you met with Giselle Brett in that beach hut?
Objection!
Also dipping his pencil on his tongue like a fountain pen. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you usually do that with pens, not pencils. Unless he just likes the taste of graphite.
Why should we listen to this absurd nonsense? It's nothing but another excuse.
Horse dung! Yeah, let's have that another... They had shut up as a custom speech bubble in the first game. I want horse dung. Okay, don't take that out of context. I want the phrase horse dung to be an exclamation. Horse dung! Exactly! Show You News will stand behind me all the way! I deny everything! Also, doesn't Show You News just mean like salty news? Like Show You Ramen? There must be as many people with the initials RM as there are stars in the night sky! The defense has neither the time nor inclination to count every star in the sky. Huh? And there's no need anyway, because this pen has more to tell. Yes, there was another clue. A clue that undeniably proves who its owner really is. Now, how many also use the same kind of pen from the same newspaper, huh?
In that case, Counsel, the defense will now show the court where the alleged clue lies.
Of course, Your Excellency. I also like how they say Your Excellency instead of Your Honor. The clue... Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Right here, baby! Oh, I should have presented that. Right here! Like how the stains on his right hand, it's the part that would press against the notepad. Yeah, like either if the fountain pen exploded at that time, or if it's just like it's fresh ink, so his hand rubs up against it. That's where it would be. As well as the initials, there's also an emblem on this fountain pen. An emblem that you will of course recognize. Many Memo-san. Many Memo-san. Ah! Just slowly takes his arm away from the stand. Just like flip it around.
Goodness me, it's the emblem of the Show You News.
Show You. In other words, the owner of this pen... No, soy sauce. Show You is soy sauce. The soy sauce news, really? Is an employee of the Show You News, whose initials are RM. Suddenly, the stars of the night sky don't seem so numerous, don't they? Real smooth, buddy. Really, just have it. Just put your arm away, me. Nah, it's too late. They've seen it already.
Well, Mini Memo-san, how do you respond?
No! Alex's pants. Alex's pants are rolled up real high. Because of those elastic bands.
Order! Order! Explain yourself, witness!
Ah!
So, this is how the mighty Supreme Court works, is it? Using coercive tactics to have well-meaning citizens reveal harmless secrets. I've used nothing but honest tactics. All right then, fine. I won't try to hide it anymore. Yes, not long before that grim tragedy unfolded, I, a Show You News reporter, on behalf of the public, conducted an interview with the Englishwoman.
So you lied to the court. Perjury. One count of perjury. Judge, if you would just like take his health bar and just...
An interview?
You never mentioned this before.
One thing I mentioned and noticed the first time I played the first game. This game uses the, was it 5-6 strike system? Exclamation points in the first game instead of a health bar for your health, for your number of times you can be wrong. The system is not too different as long as like the penalties aren't given out too often. But like, it's kind of funny to me that they've gone back to that system in a game that takes place in the past. It's almost like in-universe, people's life totals were exclamation points or individual badges until like the future where they upgraded themselves. Mega Man style.
What exactly was this?
5-5.
As I said, it was before that evil little student girl showed her face in the hut. It couldn't have lasted more than 2 or 3 minutes. That's all. It was just a brief exchange. But it came to nothing. And as we many memoists say,
I can't not read that as many me moist.
many me moist.
Moist.
The people don't pay their dues for unworthy news.
Moist notes.
Ugh.
Well, no wonder that your hand got all inked up. The paper's all wet with ink.
However insignificant you deem it to be, this court cannot overlook the meeting between yourself and the victim. You will testify now under oath about the precise nature of this meeting and what transpired.
Got it, yes. All right, but on one condition, Gramps. Condition? In all good conscience, I couldn't speak out alone about this. You need to call back the earlier witness, Soseki Natsumi-san. Not so sexy Natsume. So sexy-san? Oh, yes, according to my notes here, that man has a secret of his own. And brace yourselves, because it's not a harmless one. It's big. What?
Gross. Moist.
Many Memoism shares that one man's secret is every other man's front page story.
Look, man, write a book and then I will proceed to not buy it about your many memoism. I understand the book of the law, and I haven't read it. But you know, I'm skimming it.
Very well. I will grant the witness's request in this instance.
This game, the first game, and Spirit of Justice use the list? Did Spirit of Justice use the exclamation system? Not exclamation points literally, but like the strike system? I don't think so. Oh, it's been a while. I do like Spirit of Justice, but I can't remember it that well. I can't... spoiler alert, I don't have a very good memory. You knew this.
Officer, summon the earlier witnesses back to the stand.
Or just the first one. Just one of them.
Soseki-san, hiding something?
He is in fact a cat. And I just love his little sketchy behavior. Oh, what's there? What's that? What's that? Ooh, just fix your bow tie. Fix your mustache. Fix your mustache bow tie. The witness's secrets. Phoenix, Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney also had it. Oh, okay. I asked the Englishwoman for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hunt without making a fuss. But you said there was an interview. That came to nothing. Then watching secretly from outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witnesses come running. The detective realized the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. That's when this writer man here asked the woman a very significant question. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why many memoism demands I reveal it now. So, what is it?
You mean to say the victim?
The victim regained consciousness?
Well,
And when she did, you decided to ask her a question?
that's, true, yes, He did. And that's not all. The woman gave him a very definitive answer. An answer that incriminates the accused. So Seki, just tell the truth. I'm gonna channel Phoenix Wright and do that little gesture he did to Larry in the first game. Just
tell the truth.
This is preposterous. Why am I only hearing about this now? Why didn't you mention this before, you yokel hack?
Ouchie, just come up with new insults. You said the same thing for like every line of dialogue. For like 4 hours now.
It wasn't even a conversation.
Yes, I did pose the withering English rose a question. I don't deny it. But she could no longer speak. She was barely conscious even.
Counsel for the defense, I expect a thorough cross-examination to be conducted here. This court must and will know the truth.
Absolutely, Your Excellency! The reporter is claiming that Miss Brett implicated Ray somehow. What on earth could have happened in that hut? She could have just literally said the words, "Remember me!" The witness's secrets. Okay. It's interesting that they're so confident about this so-called indicting evidence, but they haven't said what that statement is. I'm pressing that.
Hold it!
Worst Company says you haven't played, but remember reading in the foreign court in Spirit of Justice, use the life system while the home country court had the meter. Does it? Did I just not notice that? That can't be. No way. I would have noticed that. Maybe I wouldn't have noticed it. Maybe I was too engrossed in the story of the game. Either way, I do like, as far as gimmicks go, the latest Ace Attorney games have been going hard on, making unique ones, but I like the one in Ace Attorney 6, because in the end, it amounts to more testimony. I'm not really gonna explain it, but, in 4 and 5, last time I said, oh, they're just notice that this man is sweating, notice that this guy is scared when he should be angry. Okay, well, then he's lying. Continue. No. With Spirit of Justice, it's a whole system that shows you testimony rather than tells it to you. And in the same way as asking people if they're lying, you can look at things that are happening and come up with other explanations for what you see. And that's really cool. I like that a lot. They should bring that to the next Ace Attorney somehow. This game, the gimmick is kind of similar to the one in Phoenix Wright, Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney, where there's multiple people on the stand, and there's gonna be multiple jurors, but for the most part, it's kind of just more dialogue, which I like because it's more gameplay. It's not just interrupting the gameplay. That makes sense. What question? What exactly did he say? Well, now you should hear from the horse's dung. I think the horse's dung. Don't you, Mr. Writer Man?
Out with it, you yokel hack! What did you say to her? What did you say to the dying Englishwoman?
Well, in truth, I'd been catching crabs at the water's edge and building castles in the sand, you see.
What?
Well, the seaside is a place to be at leisure, I suppose. Even for a grown man.
But then, all of a sudden, from that little beach hut, a young girl's panic-stricken cries for help pierced the air.
Ray.
I ran up to the beach to see what was happening, to find the defendant leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Hosonaga saw Miss Brett on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. And then, just a moment later, I heard a faint moan. A moan from the dead Englishwoman.
I nearly jumped out of my skin!
But what did you ask her, Soseki-san?
I asked her, who did this to you?
You know, as far as Ace Attorney goes, that's one of the most helpful questions to ask. They should ask it more often, honestly.
Don't protract this any longer. How did the woman respond?
She didn't! She said nothing in response! But
When in the stand, you will answer the questions asked of you unambiguously. Now, without evasion or reticence, I demand that you amend your testimony.
I will!
Gross.
I asked her, who did this to you, but she never replied.
Hold it!
Maybe he should change his name to Sogassy Natsume. That's kind of messed up, because that was a real person in real life at one point. Ah, jeez. I'm sorry, I'm just like throwing away everything about his name.
So you're trying to find out who the culprit was? He who asks a question is a fool for a minute. He who does not remains a fool forever. And having been labeled a criminal twice during my time in Great Britain, I was quick to make up my mind. Better to be a fool for a minute than remain a fool in prison forever!
However, you've indicated that the victim failed to respond. Is that correct?
I know why. I know why the Englishwoman said nothing. She was ignoring me because of my stoop and mustache, because I'm Japanese!
Stoop and mustache. I take it that every time he speaks in all caps, he's speaking English. Stoop and the mustache!
Oh dear. Soseki-san has really developed a dislike for the English, it seems.
I mean, like, we saw the courts over in Great Britain, especially when they were helmed by prosecutor freaking Baroque Van Zeeks. Yeah, no, they weren't exactly kind to him. Dylan looked at Spirit of Justice gameplay. They both use the life system. In Korean, it's Magatamas. In quote-unquote home, it's the original life design. Or the badges. Okay. If the entire game used the life system, then yeah, that's... In effect, both systems are kind of the same. It's just a different amount of life. Like, I believe there are cases in Ace Attorney 5 and 6. Did 5 also use lives? I think they did. I think that was their attempt to go back and simplify it again. Because the only thing the life bar system really does is allow them to vary the amount of chunk of life that they take off per penalty. So that, you know, if you present the wrong piece of evidence, it's just like a little chunk. But if you make the entirely wrong argument, then it's like a huge chunk. And then at stressful parts of the game, it's like the entire life bar. But you can do that with exclamation points. You can do that with badges. Just be like, oh, 1 badge, 2 badge, red badge, blue badge.
Having read the report on his time in Great Britain, I can't say I'm surprised at his xenophobia.
Sad. But the Englishwoman didn't ignore you at all. did she, Mr. Writer Man? Well, yes, all right. She did respond in a manner of speaking, I suppose. She just lifted a trembling finger and pointed in the direction of the defendant. Oh. I mean, maybe Many Memo was behind her.
Hold it!
Miss Red pointed a finger at the defendant? Pointing in my Ace Attorney? It's more likely than you think. So, Seki-san, is that really true?
It's not easy to stand here and say this, but when we first entered the beach hut... Objection. The English woman was sprawled on the floor between us, with the student girl standing on the far side of her. And when I asked, "Who did this to you?" Whoa! The Englishwoman summoned her last ounce of strength to point a trembling finger at the back of the hut. But if someone was, say, right here... Which was, it can't be denied, in the direction of the student girl who stands accused today. I do like the hand on the map. It's like coming out of the little stop sign.
No!
Soseki-san, why on earth did you neglect to mention this in your original testimony?
But fiddlesticks, I say.
This is not a British court of law. You'll respond in Japanese.
Yes, of course. The Englishwoman did point her finger towards the back of the hut. But I was trembling, and she was trembling, and everything was trembling, in a blur of trembling. And thinking about it, I feel as though perhaps she was pointing in a slightly different direction. Actually, no! Not slightly! In a very different direction to where the student girl was standing. To somewhere at the back of the hut where nobody was standing at all.
You mean your memory of events and the direction in which the victim was pointing are both unclear? Are we about to learn a new mechanic?
Yes, that's it, unclear. I'm very, very unclear.
Objection!
Your Excellency! Surely this proves the matter beyond all reasonable doubt. Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious, and yes, perhaps her finger wavered slightly. But there can be no doubt that this was an attempt by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant. Why? Why? Because as the court can see, there was no one other than the accused in the direction the victim was pointing. My finger points. It is now abundantly clear that no one besides the accuser could have possibly committed this crime.
I am inclined to agree.
This dude, how is he so difficult to get a straight answer out of? Funny you say that, Dylan. That is famous Japanese writer Soseki Natsume. Famous for being subtle and indirect in his writing. I think that's the point. You ever played Persona 4? He's the guy that they're saying, like, how do you say I love you in Japanese? Oh, you say, the moon looks pretty tonight, doesn't it? Something like that.
And in the absence of any credible argument to the contrary, I believe we can now conclude this trial.
No! No! The headline's writing itself. Dashing lawyers hope stash. 92 point across the whole page. We'll do an extra edition. Read all about it.
This is a serious blow, Susato.
Blow.
Unless we're able to identify the true culprit and substantiate a claim with evidence, the judge will give his ruling and the trial will be over.
Slander! But that's impossible, Father! Father, you have a question. What's your question? We don't even know how the crime was committed yet.
Impossible though the task may seem, we have no choice. We must think back over everything we've learned thus far. Somewhere in all those details, I'm confident we'll find the clue we need.
May give us her account of how events unfolded before the trial resumed. You know, she didn't mention anything about, like, getting behind her and then dodging. No, she said she just got up and fell in front of her. She told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brett was killed.
The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. And then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor with a knife in her back.
Alright, okay, let's not have too many flashbacks. Gonna turn into Danganronpa at this rate. How can Miss Red have been stabbed in the back in a beach hut that was empty but for herself and Ray? Somewhere amid all the information we gathered so far, there must be an answer. Okay. So this is one of those points where, like, it's pretty... We know why. You just have to wait for the right time to point it out.
The gallant yokel student's luck finally runs out. I can't say I'm surprised.
In that case, I am ready to deliver my final verdict.
This is a crucial turning point now. If I can establish what really happened, it's over. Where was the real culprit hiding? And how did he or she stab?
I know!
Objection!
Your Excellency, I respectfully ask you to postpone your education for the time being. Egg. Test lamb.
Oh? To what end, Counsel?
The defense would like to present the court with an alternative theory. An alternative theory that can explain who the victim was actually trying to implicate with her dying gesture.
Objection!
Yeah, I really like Ouchie's objection. It's not just shrill like in Ace Attorney 1. Yo, quick fact. The voices in Ace Attorney 1 for the DS were all recorded by the Capcom localization members. Like, they didn't hire voice actors. It's all just the people who were on the translation team, on the localization team. So, like, you'll see, like, oh, voice actor for Phoenix Wright. I believe his name is Ben Judd. Yeah, that was just a dude on Capcom staff. But they picked probably the best dude with the best objecting voice. Like, after she quit Capcom, he started doing, like, interviews and stuff for, I think, some gaming journalism outlet. And there's a point where he, like, interviewed Koji Igarashi while he was making Bloodstained. So they have, like, a little shout off where Igarashi goes, like, "Die, monster! You don't belong in this world!" And then Ben Judd's like, "Objection!" And then he has to explain, like, "Oh yeah, I was the English voice of Phoenix Wright, don't you know?" An alternative theory? Ha! None exists!
Objection!
You like the old pain objection? It's also really good. This one just fits better for a more realistic game.
Objection!
There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed this crime. What? And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was to those around her at the time by mustering all her remaining strength and pointing a trembling finger in the killer's direction. This is fiction! Fantasy! Final Fantasy! 12! 14! Critically acclaimed! Free trial! Level 60! Heaven's Horde!
All right. I know, Ouchie, you're addicted to online MMORPGs.
What can I say? It's a good game.
Very well. As you seem so sure of yourself, Counsel, I am prepared to hear your alternative theory. So, young Ryutaro Naruhodo,
Yes, Your Excellency!
you will present your latest theory to the court by means of this plan. At the moment the victim was stabbed, where exactly are you proposing the culprit was concealed?
Da 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 da.
Take that!
Naruhodo-san would never give up. And I'm a Naruhodo now. Now wait a minute. Welcome to the family, son. The true culprit who fatally stabbed Miss Brett was concealed in this location here.
Are you mad, Counsel? You're suggesting the culprit was outside the hut?
Okay, that was scary. Oh, my controller. Ah! That was scary. Because anytime the game is like, I think they were generically in this location, generically here. It's usually just the answer for getting it wrong. No. He's acknowledged it. Outside. Uh-oh. Who else was there? Pizza the Hut. Who knew they I already had locations in Japan in the 1800s.
Order, order, order!
Well, I have a large, extra thick, extra cheese, extra pepperoni, extra chicken. But student lawyer Naruhodo-san Esquire, that makes no sense at all. You just pointed out the exact spot where I was hiding to get my scoop snap. Yeah, mini memo. I wonder why. Look at him sweat. Look at this sweaty man. Look at how sweaty he is. Such a sweaty, sweaty man. So sweaty. You just saw that sweat on the internet. But I didn't see any suspicious individuals loitering about. Oh, I can swear to that. Did you try a mirror?
Obviously, if the culprit had been outside the hut, there is no way that he or she could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hut.
He's not getting away that easy. Extra chicken. What's up, Tuffy-mon? Welcome on in. I think we're sussing out the culprit. I kinda hope he's not, though, because I like his character. Actually, Professor Ouchie, Prosecutor Ouchie, there is a way. I got Professor Layton on the mind now. And, in point of fact, the defense can provide evidence strongly suggesting this is precisely the way Miss Brett was killed.
You're bluffing. You're bluffing, you yokel.
It was me. No! Wait!
I can explain. I look sus, but I'm not.
The defense's assertion is clearly too fantastical for the court to comprehend. You will need to give us more guidance, counsel. What piece of evidence corroborates your theory that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut?
The fact that the reeds pull apart? The fact that there's a little slit here? I'm gonna go with the slit, and if not, I'm gonna have to think about this.
Take that!
The original photographic print of the crime scene?
Yes, it's clearly visible in this print. The trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from outside the beach hut.
Objection!
Do you take us for fools? There's no hint of any such thing.
I'm not so sure that everyone present would agree. Someone, at least, appears to have noticed what it is that I'm referring to.
Counsel, once again, I must call on you to be explicit for the court. Where on this photograph is the trace of the stabbing, which you claim took place from outside the hut?
Let me just look real quick. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be blood on that stool, but there is definitely a little place where the reeds don't quite come together.
Take that!
Look closely, just here. In the screen at the back of the hut, you can see the effects of a blade having forced through the reeds.
No, I can't see any such thing.
Use your eyes, man. It's true that the hut in question had 4 walls, as you expect. However, by parting the reeds, a knife blade could easily penetrate them.
This is extraordinary.
Yes. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the beach hut. Ugh. And of everyone present at the scene, there is only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Brett was killed. Right in many memo-san. It could have only been you. Murdered just because she wouldn't give an interview. Is he that kind of man? Do I want that to be true? No, but I like the character. Aw, jeez, come on. Please, come on, just say that like, okay, you know, I was protecting this other person that was totally here, and I didn't want to bring them up, but no, since now that the murder's on me, it's totally them. Right? Right?
Can only be you.
No!
Objection!
No preposterous idea leaves me almost speechless. Just look at the photograph again. The victim lies almost exactly in the center of the beach hut, does she not? Are we to assume that is part of the partial scenario that the assailant was a knife thrower?
Objection!
According to the testimony, she got up. The knife wound wasn't fatal, not by itself, because it was plugging the wound, but because poison. Maybe it didn't come in through the knife, though, if they really did check it. Still not sure about that. No, of course not.
We're not?
No. If you recall the testimony of the defendant about the...
Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Pratt. But she just sat on a stool at the back.
Yeah, okay, we read that.
The stool?
Stool, like horse dung. Not that kind of stool. Have another look at the photograph.
Curare.
Curare. Thanks for teaching us how to say curare. What's up, Joe Cute? How you doing? The slit in the reed screen would align perfectly with the back of a person who was sitting on that stool.
My word! So in fact, the victim was...
Killed while sitting on that stool by a stab wound to her back delivered through the reed screen. Through the reed screen? Yes, through the reed screen. Ah! Having been attacked, Miss Brett rose to her feet instinctively. But then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut. Before the defendant Mememi-san's appalled eyes. And that, Your Excellency, is the truth of what happened on the beach that day. Yeah, hooray, we did it! But is that the whole truth? By your silence, Memo-san, I take it that you don't deny the charge. He's coming up with a lie. I can hear the gears turning.
This is absurd!
Get used to it, Mr. Ouchie. Your whole family line is going to be dealing with this kind of craziness for hundreds of years.
That will do. That'll do, Pig. That'll do. It would appear that we have a tacit admission of guilt from the witness. Accordingly, this court has successfully established the truth of this matter, which means that the defendant, Mememi-san, is innocent of the crime.
Is it that simple? Wait. I don't believe... This is too simple. At least compared to the first great ace attorney, Jazel's all like, well, actually, you know, under the beef. Actually, this poison's totally fine. Here, let me drink it. Is it really that easy? Oh, thank goodness. I finally made him cave.
I must say, I've never been more proud.
No, this can't be the Ouchie Clan kid. What am I growth? My growth of hope.
Shut up about your growth, man. That's absolutely disgusting.
It wasn't at all an apparition. I can't accept this. I won't.
I see no reason for the continuance of this trial. I will therefore move to conclude proceedings by delivering my final verdict and...
Hold it!
I knew it! Well, this is all very convenient. This is how the highest court in our mighty empire delivers justice, isn't it? Suppressing well-meaning citizens' freedom to speak and branding them as criminals. Yes. Yes, have you... Sorry, Memo. That's how Ace Attorney works. Hopefully we get the right answer. But we've established that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut, though, through the reed screen walls.
And no one but you was in place at the time to have this hand on the hilt of the blade. It is a perfectly logical deduction.
So, your argument hinges on the location of whoever stabbed the Englishwoman, does it? Well, it seems a little irrelevant now. Why? Why? Irrelevant? Because he's the one that gave us that testimony in the first place? Where she was stabbed, how she was stabbed, it doesn't matter. I mean, whether she stabbed at all makes no difference if you think about it. Oh yeah, the poison. Oh yeah, the poison. Poison for Cusco. Cusco's poison. Yeah. After all, this trial's already shown the whole thing hinges on something else. You were paying attention. So Seki. I know that's just his animation, but it kind of felt like he was looking at the camera. Cut the film. So Seki, you're not supposed to look straight into the camera. I was just checking it was still on. What are you talking about? Because the poison. Brace yourself, little man. I'm talking about the fact that everything's changed. She was poisoned, but me stabbing doesn't matter. She was already gonna die. Because of the dirt you dug up. Yep, here we go. What?
Enough obscurity. Explain yourself, witness.
I find it very interesting. Like, I know for a fact that he was already here for the first part of the trial, because he was just stalking Natsume. But he seems to have been paying very close attention. What's to explain? I'm talking about the poison, of course. That's still attempted murder. Yeah, but he'll get off on different charges. I don't know.
The poison? The poison for Cusco?
Let's ask this professor for a comment on the situation, shall we? I understand that a deadly poison you were developing was stolen from your laboratory, correct? And it's been shown that this poison was administered to the victim, Miss Brett. Is that right? No, it's not Naruhodo.
That is correct.
You're almost certain there's a case in real life you could Google. Well, not only is this not the American legal system, but it's also, like, not accurate to the Japanese one either. So, you know, fantasy land. Guilty until innocent, you know.
The unusual constriction of the victim's pupils are a sure sign that this particular poison was used.
I see. So presumably that means that the victim already had the poison in her body before she was stabbed. Ah!
Given that her pupils were clearly constricted, it seems highly likely, yes. She had been dead already, the poison could have not circulated in her blood. Omae wa mo shinderu.
Ouchie plan. Ouchie's just watching. He really has no control over any aspect of this court. Very stark contrast to the original trilogy games, where at least Winston Payne tried to present arguments. He's just here on the sidelines, taking up space, honestly. It's always just me against the witness.
Ah, how refreshing to hear the argument of a metropolitan mind. Precisely. It matters not a jot who stabbed whom in whose back and with whose blade. Because, quite simply, the Englishwoman's life was taken not by the knife, but by the poison.
Objection!
But that can be explained by the poison being on the blade, as they already established was not on the blade. Ooh, I feel like I'm gonna be asked a question really soon, so how else could the poison be administered? I can only imagine the wine glass, I guess? We can't really prove that she drank from it.
Objection!
He's there for the aesthetic. Oh, well, you know, if we're just here for the feng shui of the room, just move him like, I don't think, you know, maybe not the east wall, nor the north wall. Just get him out of the room. There you go, that'll bring good luck.
Forgotten already, have we, yokel?
Does the poison go in the skin? Hold on, let me look it up again. Just to double check. Also, Nuiki, how you doing? The poison. This is what we know about the poison. It enters the body either by the mouth or via wound. So not like the poison from the first game, the curare, where it has to be a wound. Like, you can totally drink that one. This one is just like, as long as it's in you at all. And the fact that it says by the mouth and the fact that there's that wine glass with the bottle, I think she drank it.
During these very proceedings, the laboratory of the professor at your side assisted in proving that the blade of the weapon used to attack the victim has no trace of poison on it whatsoever.
So let me get this down. The facts as skillfully established by the defense in this trial turned out to be a headline-making red herring. Red herring! Maybe the pen? Maybe the pen, too. Is that about right? Susanoo, stop yelling. You're gonna destroy my voice before this trial's even over. I'm thinking two possibilities. It's either drinking it, otherwise I don't know why this glass is even in the photo, or it was in the pen's ink reservoir, because it might be important in the fact that it's almost empty. And also, like, the ink that's still on his hand could end up, like, being a place where we can test for the poison. But if it is poison on his hand right now, he's, like, licking all over that pencil. That is dangerously close to his hand. If he even so much as accidentally tastes the palm of his hand, you could just die right here. I'm scared of that possibility. Because, again, I want him to stay as a character.
Order! Order! Order!
Drink the water. No, don't drink the poison.
But where does this leave us? How, in that case, did the poison enter the victim's body? There is an undeniably obvious answer to that. The lady most likely imbibed it.
Drinking. You mean she drank it?
Yes. I'm a professor. I have to use complex vocabulary. Have another look at the photograph here. As you can see.
Okay, now they're actually bringing it up. You gonna say maybe she absorbed it through her hand? Maybe, or she poked herself. We'd have to, like, have a specific piece of evidence that says she has, like, a whole wound in her hand of some sort for that to be the case. But if the pen maybe got stabbed into her back before the knife, that could also be it.
A bottle of carbonated water and a glass had been knocked on the sandy floor of the beach hut. The poison could have been slipped into either.
So somebody made Miss Brett drink it. Maybe during the interview. Could be like, here, you're a little parched. Here, have this water. Irony. Absolute irony. First the curare, now this. Well, what do you know? Look at those dashing eyes. This will make a great front page shot. Eyes, you say? How much film does he have? That's what I'm wondering, because this is an 1800s camera. It can't have more than, like, one. Hey, why the bewitching stare? After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It would make no sense at all that I poisoned the woman, would it? I mean, that's been established already.
Hold it!
This guy knows too much about the court system. I hate it and I love it. Established? What are you talking about? Don't tell me you've forgotten. That's a little hard to believe given the person who established it was you. Me? What on earth does he mean? Oh, let me capture those wide eyes. This is prime press fodder, this is. Those eyes, those eyes, those...
Special eyes. It would seem that this trial is not destined to end yet, after all.
Something tells me that's not his first day in court. Again, I expect this now because the first Great Ace Attorney, honestly, I'm not gonna say dragged, but was very, very long for a first trial. Giselle Brett would just not give up, but I felt that in her character. Here, I'm just confused about who this mini-memo is. He's trying so hard to avoid suspicion, but is it because he's guilty? Or is it because he's just crafty?
I hereby call upon the witness to give further testimony.
That's great, that is. Let me get a shot of that magnificent beard, Your Excellency.
You claim it to be impossible that you were the one responsible for administering the poison to the victim.
Both? Oh no!
You will explain to the court in your testimony the basis upon which you make such a claim.
I'm a journo, and I'm a man. I'm a journo man. I'm never trying to run or hide from anything in my life. That's not true. Didn't you say your first memo was to, like, run fast and hide quickly? And I'm not about to start now because that's many-memoism. For a brief moment, I thought I'd illuminated the truth, but it slipped right back into obscurity again. Alright, Great Ace Attorney. Alright, you gotta draw the line somewhere. Can I just get to the truth, please? Just where is this trial going to take us? Is this another break? Okay, no.
Witness testimony.
I love how the words just like... Complete innocence. Nah, you swear it's just a really good build-up for a D's Nuts joke. Of course. All of the pun names in every Ace Attorney game, they all lead up to a man named D's. D's? Yes. D's Nuts. Oh, yes, I stabbed the Englishwoman, and it's the very fact that proves I'm innocent. You like the eyes, you wish they hot with the avatar. If I could, there's probably a way I could make that happen, but it's way too complicated. I have to make it like part of the avatar. It's a whole like Discord script that's used to make this happen, so like I can't just put it in OBS. I love it though. Cause why would I have bothered to stab the woman if I'd already poisoned her? When I heard the student girl and that pompous English murderer arguing, it got my goat. If the courts weren't going to punish Brett for what she did, someone else would have to see justice done. Starting to have the cursed realization that my voice for Lupin / Mini Memo is like a slightly less extreme version of my Monokuma voice. You have to believe that I'm innocent. So you admit it then? That everything happened as I described? Yeah, I didn't technically kill her, I just stabbed her. That you are the one who stabbed Miss Brett in the back through the read screen? You can blame this miserable country of ours. Oh, get off your soapbox, man. We're saving that for Cody Hackins 100 years later. A country that bows to the pressure of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free? What kind of future can a country like that have? That's why I did it. I did what our pathetic leaders didn't have the guts to do. Slap bang in the middle of the charming lady's back. I plunged the blade of sweet justice right in there. Right in there. Right in there. A mercy killing. You don't get to decide that, Many Membo. As someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told. What, was Kiryu spectating this whole time? He just left the courtroom? Alright, well, let's continue. I feel really awful about giving false information in my testimony before. But as it turns out, there was somebody else who had it in for the victim and got to her before me. And it all comes back to Ray. That's right. You guessed it. Monokuma Revenge. RM, Revenge Monokuma. That pretty little student girl. Now, there's a woman after my own heart. Now, Lupin, don't you dare. She's still in school. You're implicating Ray again? She's the one who gave the poison to that Englishwoman and ended her pitiful existence. And suddenly, snap! This journo here is off the hook. Don't get cooked. That's what they say in Splatoon. You had to be there, 100 years later.
The argument is sound, certainly. If the witness had administered the poison himself, he need only have waited for it to take effect. Subsequently stabbing the victim in the back would have been entirely nonsensical.
And therefore, this reporter had nothing to do with the poisoning. Yes, it's all quite logical.
Can we still arrest him? I don't like the way his smug aura mocks me.
That's right, it is. Logical and true. I'm glad you all seen the light.
Justice at last! I gave Bouchy's voice for a little bit. Justice at last! This is unbelievable! And after I made so much progress in proving his guilt, is he gonna go away with it now? No? Please? Think. That works too. Slap. Think of Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san. I don't have Kazuma's sword though. Just cut Ouchie's hair again. Make him lose every strand. He never stopped looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel.
Very well then, counsel. Proceed with what I assume to be your final cross-examination in this trial.
Good, because my throat is killing me. He can't pull anything out of his pocket for long. He's running out of film. Yes, Your Excellency. I probably should have said a metaphor about he can't pull any more evidence from his camera.
Dum 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 dum.
Complete innocence. Thanks for the hydrate. The stab was just for the cover story. It just made it look better, you know? Is the Switch or Steam? This is on the Switch. I actually did buy it again for Steam with the intent to play that version if the Switch version didn't come on release day. But it did. And I had to play it for this. How else am I able to zoom so perfectly and smoothly? It's like my favorite feature of streaming on Twitch. On the Switch, I mean. Oops. But, yeah. Water and water and water, water, water and water and water and water, water and water and water and water and water and water. I can make him do a little pencil dance. So what we need to prove is either whether or not he was the one who poisoned her. So where could the poison be? How do we prove this? Let's see. We gotta press something. Of course, we're gonna press Brett, someone else. Oh. Okay, so first inclination, I'm gonna press the statement about why would he stab. Why would he stab? Why stab? No stab. Please, no. How many pencils does he have? Let's count. 1, 2. Okay, I'm confusing myself now. It's like the animations aren't totally one-to-one with his dialogue.
Hold it!
So you still maintain that you didn't give the poison to the victim? Obviously, that'd be like putting a belt on your trousers when you were already wearing braces like these. Hey, you can't be too careful.
The accuser administered the poison, following which this witness stabbed the victim. An unforgivable act, certainly, but not one of murder. That crime rests on the accuser's shoulders. That's how the law works, you see, yokel. Who knows? You may even learn something here today.
2 consecutive attempts on her life in the space of minutes. Quite a day for the victim.
I'll say. Do something that evil and you got it coming. That's how the law works. No, that's how vengeance and vigilantism works. The law of reckoning. That's not the kind of law this court upholds.
You will reiterate why you were compelled to stab the victim then, witness.
Got him. I also made it a point to buy the Switch version of this game because I wanted the sales numbers to show for the record, Capcom, that we want physical copies of Ace Attorney games. 5 and 6 didn't come physically to the US at all. So like, we were, all us Ace Attorney fans are like, will we ever see physical releases in the States ever again? It is amazing that they actually released this game on a cartridge and everything. What exactly were they arguing about? Okay. I don't remember because I actually bought the Japanese version of this, but for Ace Attorney 1, 2, 3 collection, did that come in a physical cartridge in the US? Because I had already bought it from Japan, and it has English on it, so that's the version I have. What exactly were they arguing about? It wasn't even $60. Yeah, 2 games for $40? What a steal! Take notes, Nintendo. These are even like new games to us. About what happened in that restaurant 9 months ago, that's what. A student girl was laying into the Englishwoman for killing her beloved mentor, Dr. Wilson Watson.
Yes, John H. Wilson Watson. A professor of medicine invited here from England by Professor Mikotoba, no less.
Right, but the Englishwoman just jeered.
Her case was to be heard by the British Consular Court in Shanghai. However, there's little doubt that she would simply have been acquitted and sent back to her homeland a free woman.
I wonder if it's important that they're bringing up Shanghai. Maybe we see some characters from there in this game.
It was eating that student girl up inside. You could see it. I really felt for her.
Hold up. Oh, where? What? Why? Who said that?
It was me, pal. Hold it.
Gumshoe! I wish. Capcom, acknowledge Gumshoe, please.
I can't! I can't stand here and listen to this tripe!
Hey, Tripe's pretty good, though.
Hey! Young girl, you stand accused here. You can't just blurt out whatever you feel like it.
If she's got a speech bubble, she can. No, you can't. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen. Quiet like Natsume over here.
But this awful man is making all of this up! Susato, please! You have to make them listen!
I don't know who Susato is. I can make them listen, but don't blow my cover.
Return to the dock at once, Membami-san. We are in the middle of a cross-examination.
Hold it!
She's docked like a switch.
Your Excellency, please, I implore you!
That journalist is clearly not a trustworthy witness.
Exactly! He's a filthy, rotten, blight-hearted, bigoted, dirty, great, peeping Tom!
Whoa, take it easy there. Show us your film. What do you have?
A knife.
No! Please, I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say. I know it. That's why he wants those pictures. Him talking about his thrusting, he's just a dirty little pervert. So he's Lupin the Third. God, his characterization absolutely perfect, didn't I? Whoa.
Stave. Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accuser's remarks.
I will grant the request of the defense.
Really?
But Your Excellency!
This is likely to be the final cross-examination. For realsies this time. For realsies of these proceedings. As such, I believe it would be ill-advised to stifle the defendant's obvious concerns. So, whilst recognizing that this contravenes regular protocol, I hereby call upon the defendant to speak.
The final for real examination.
Oh! Thank you so much, Your Excellency!
It's like naming your homework before you turn it in. Like, okay, here's my final report. No, actual final report. No, final version 3.0 report. Final, real. Submit this one.
It was nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. They were discussing the stolen poison.
Is she really? Yeah, she's just really in there. It's like pencil snap and Ray. And pencil snap and Ray. And pencil snap and Ray. And pencil snap. Ow, my hand! Oh, this pencil's extra sharp. Oh, you shouldn't be breaking them, man. All right, okay, let's press it.
Hold it!
Mega Ultra 3.79775 Final Hyper Omega Examination.
The Endo!
Are we just naming Street Fighter editions? Pretty much.
The stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean?
Another Capcom game.
I suspected her of being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson, Watson.
That's true. Additionally, Miss Brent certainly had knowledge of the new poison. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the government.
Indeed. Unless she knew exactly when ManokAdobo was gonna be out of the lab.
All visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave.
By who?
Even if they managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult.
That's true! I pestered Professor ManokAdobo until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited his laboratory. But as I left, I was searched from top to tail. Oh! Then for sure! The poison had to be smuggled in something inconspicuous. something like a pen.
Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we've been developing, you see. And since Soseki-san expressed such an interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. Obviously, I gave nothing away other than the fact that it was an extremely potent substance.
Thinking. I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I've had a singularly terrible experience with a deadly poison. I wanted to look my old enemy in the eye. Surely you can understand that.
To find out if my suspicions were true, I confronted Miss Brett about the poison.
Now you're thinking.
I told her that if there were to be an incident involving it somehow, it wouldn't just be the university. The military would be dragged into it. The whole government even. It would be a complete disaster.
Starting with the stakes high, I see. Just like the first game. Now it is very clear why Susato had to come back to Japan, I see.
And how did Miss Brett respond to your concerns?
She just curled those beautiful lips of hers
Beautiful lips now. Excuse me?
and said she didn't know the first thing about it. In English, actually.
Ah, yes. Mini-Memo-san, one small question if you don't mind.
I do mind. Can't you see I'm busy?
Clearly, you were outside the beach hut listening in whilst the defendant and Miss Brett were conversing. Presumably, then, it was you who wrote this article about what you'd heard.
Ah.
Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory.
Oh. And he knows about the scoop because he's the one who stole it. It wasn't just leaked. The poison itself was leaked.
The story was published in the morning's edition of Shoyu News. The details are too accurate for it to have been written by anyone else.
Sorry, don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, look at this.
Photograph? No, it's a newspaper.
The entire article. It's almost what I said to Miss Brett, word for word.
You're telling me that you're also plagiarizing? No, it's a quote. Well, Mini-Memo-san? As a journo and as a citizen of a free country, I don't have to reveal my sources. That's a founding principle of Mini-Memoism. Literally not how journalism works. Cite your sources. Give me the MLA notation. Father's clearly right about this. That reporter did write that article, and he based it on what he overheard from outside the hut.
Cornered.
Like a summary. Okay, I'll give it that. I'm just thinking about the time that I wrote an essay in college. And you know, they got that fancy software that detects whether or not you're plagiarizing somebody else's essay. And I quoted a specific source from a specific article that some other paper did. And because that text matched, even though it was a quote, so of course it was gonna match. Because of that match, they thought that I plagiarized somebody else's paper. I'm like, you know what? I'm just submitting this because the professor can clearly see, even if it says plagiarism percentage chances, like, it's a quote, man. I think they need to rewrite their software. Like, I just cannot. I don't accept that. That's not user error. That's programming error. Anyway,
so that's what it was all about. You were trying to cover up the fact that you were listening in. That's why you came up with that stinky story about me arguing with her.
Always sugarcoating the facts. At this point, it's not just Frosted Flakes. It's an entire bowl of ice. It's an entire can of Mountain Dew.
Gamer fuel.
Shut up! My stories never stink. Look, whatever you say, little girl, it doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, there's something I want to say, and I want it to go on record. Everything you say is on record. This is a courtroom.
Very well. You may amend your formal testimony.
I'd absolutely hate to be the what do they call them? Like secretary? Whoever's like writing down the official court record. for everything that's said in an Ace Attorney game, because statements are constantly being amended and changed in the middle of statements, and then Phoenix keeps like listening to the same testimony over and over again and going back. Oh, jeez, I would not want that job. Break this man's will. The point is, if you'd poisoned someone, there'd be no reason to then go and stab the person as well. There's gotta be a reason. To cover it up, to make it look like the stab was the reason. Your wife's an English teacher? You saw all sorts of stuff? That teacher would have been a stickler if they cared about the plagiarism, yeah. If a person wrote it themselves, it still comes out 10 to 20%. I mean, it should be a good thing that our papers match, right? Because that means we use the same very credible sources. I should just go and rewrite that detection AI. I'm a programmer now. Look at who's laughing now. Perhaps you doubted the efficacy of the poison and sought to make sure that your victim would die. That's horse dung. What? That would be like pouring pepper on your Chinese ramen before you even tasted it. Chinese ramen? Completely reckless. Although it might surprise you to learn that I'm a bit of an impetuous pepper pourer as it happens. I don't care if you're Peter Piper picking a pack of pickled peppers. Just tell us the truth. Once the victim had taken the poison, she'd been only minutes away from death. But the stab had to have occurred because he knew it would take minutes, because she was about to talk to Ray, and he couldn't risk her telling the truth. Maybe Giselle knew she was poisoned, and because, he stabbed her in the back knowing that it would puncture her lung and then stop her from talking. That has to be it. And yet this man then proceeded to stab her in the back as well. There has to have been a good reason. Doesn't that mean he did both? Absolutely.
If it was the reporter who gave the poison to Miss Brett, then clearly he must have done it prior to Ray entering the hut.
Yes, that's undeniable. So, one thing that's standing out to me is that he's asserting that, oh yeah, why would I stab after the poisoning? Why would I stab after the poisoning? Why would I stab after the poisoning? So he's agreeing that the poisoning happened before the stab. But we've established that the stab happened right at the beginning of Ray coming into the hut. Therefore, Giselle had to be poisoned by someone besides Ray. I'm gonna keep that argument in my mind.
Between him leaving the hut and the victim being stabbed, there was one very crucial change in the situation.
Sorry? What change?
The reporter overheard the conversation between Ray and the Englishwoman.
Yeah! Ah, yes, that's it! That's when the Neo-San first found out the exact nature of the poison. That could be the key. That's it. Ask about this. What if they poison the wine? That's my other theory, but like they haven't talked about the wine at all. Well, Mikotoba said maybe she drank it, and that was the extent of it. None of the gameplay is pointing towards it, so, you know, if we get to that, we'll get to that. But for now... I'd have to do with the little thinky thing. I know I want to prove that he stabbed her because she was about to talk. So, okay. Trauma to the victim's lung, so he stabbed with the intent to puncture her lung, I'm going to say. So I'm going to say the post-mortem report on... Which statement, though? Not that one. I don't know. Methods can't detect. Phelan minutes. Okay, maybe that's not what I'm trying to prove here. It's either I don't know if I can prove exactly that the intent was to stop her from talking. Susato's talking about there has to be a reason. So maybe I'm... I think... I have to present reason with being that it takes place in minutes?
Objection!
Oh? Oh? Music start, baby! Well, I can think of one reason. What? Huh? Nani? Nani the heck? But before I explain, I'd like you to confirm something for the court. I'm on a roll. Honestly, I'm surprised. Maybe I finally learned how the Ace Attorney games work after playing so many of them. Did you glean all the information from this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut? Of course he did. There can be no question of that. Soseki, I am not asking you. Get off of the stand. Aw, I'm being so mean to him. Look, Soseki, you just need to calm down. We're here to find the truth. Should we put you in the gaol again? The gaol, the jail. Just to calm you down. Just put you in a familiar location so you can just get your bearings, you know? After all, when we are all in the laboratory together, all we were told is that it was a terrible toxin. And there is one more important fact to consider. According to the witness, Membami-san's verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to have slipped the poison into Miss Brett's drink.
Objection!
Ooh. So, poisoning the drink is his argument, but we're asserting that it was somehow Memo.
Where are you going with this, counsel?
While she was talking to Ray, a certain chicken used the pen. No! How could it be? It was Cousin Boneless. Memo-san has made it quite clear that he observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it. Which means that Miss Brett couldn't have imbibed the poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Mamami entered the hut. Here we go. That's what he's been saying. Certainly hasn't contradicted it. Okay. I'm gonna say this one thing about the Great Ace Attorney series. I feel like it's not a bad thing, but I feel like there are often a lot more people in the courtroom than in the original Ace Attorneys. Like, at one point in time, in the first trial, let's say, you've got Phoenix, you've got Winston Payne, the judge, Frank Side, and sometimes Larry butts in. Butts in. That's it. Like, I guess Mia is there to teach you a tutorial, but she doesn't interject as much. In this game, it's like everybody has to go through the anime whole spiel of, I revealed this information. You did what? Yes, I did that. You did that? You did that. He did that? Wow, he did that. You sure are dumb, defense attorney, for believing that he didn't do that. But how could he have done that? Oh my god. But what if he didn't do that? It's like 5 people all reacting to the same thing, prolonging everything. It's a lot of the same stuff that Danganronpa, especially because Danganronpa has like, what, 15 people in one room, suffers from a lot. I just kind of noticed that. It's different.
Very articulately put.
Endless accusations, it never stops. When I walked into the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Fred about the poison. At which point, Memo-san overheard some worrying information.
Worrying information?
What did I just say?
What worrying information?
The information what she subsequently included in his newspaper article, namely that the poison was being developed in strict secrecy and that it couldn't be readily obtained.
It couldn't be readily attained?
That's right, it couldn't be readily obtained. Absolutely. In fact, that's quite an understatement. The only place it could have come from is my lab.
From your lab? And furthermore, anyone afflicted by the poison would exhibit telltale signs in death.
The extreme constriction of the pupils. Yes, it's quite stark when you see it. There were other poisons that show similar symptoms, but not among new substances that are undetectable.
In other words, it would be clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of the poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people.
Everyone in my laboratory is aware of the unique properties of the toxin we've been developing. None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it for some nefarious deed. Minbami-san being no exception.
Well, that's very fine and dandy. You're attesting to her character. Doesn't necessarily hold up in court. But, you know, I believe him. Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered this unique poison to the victim was a layperson, unaware of its telltale properties. In other words, someone like you! Right, 10 mini memo? Let's go! Listen to that music. Oh, that beautiful objection theme. It uses the same one as Great Ace Turning 1. Ooh, 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 I'm dancing. I'm grooving. Oh, oh, oh. Let's groove. Cat jam. Rat jam. Danganronpa's also outlandishly complicated. That's true. Seesaw. Ah! I'm yelling, but I'm also grooving. It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day. And it was you who administered it to the unwitting victim. But you quickly realized that was a terrible mistake.
Because the poison caused such unusual symptoms and was so traceable.
As you listened in from the far side of the beach hut's thin walls, you learned of these facts. But you'd already given the victim the poison at that point. It was too late. You're too slow. So you hatched a plan to disguise your mistake. To be fair, he came up with that alternate plan really quickly. A plan that involves stabbing the victim in the back through the reed screen.
Objection!
But what good could that possibly do?
Isn't it obvious, Counsel? The plan was to kill Miss Brett before the poison could take effect. But it still affected. It still got her eyes. And that's the defining characteristic we needed.
Once in the blood, the poison causes the onset of pupil constriction, but he had hoped to precipitate the victim's death before that happened, hadn't he?
Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison's use, no one would have ever suspected.
This is extraordinary.
Yes, the effects of the poison meant it would be too easily identified, so the killer had to mask its use. Should have used Karare, just saying. What she attempted to do by plunging a knife into the middle of the victim's back.
Order! 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 You're all out of order! The vending machine in the hallway is out of order!
And by vending machine, it's probably just like a dude running a little like onigiri stand or something in the middle of the courthouse.
Jelly-filled donuts. Of course, yes.
The argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied that it warrants consideration.
Got him.
Does the prosecution have a counter-argument it wishes to put forward?
Jelly donuts? Well, there are a number of... yes! I counter completely. Mouth down B.
Objection!
The prosecution's evasive response clearly shows he's never played Super Smash Bros. And in much of the same way as he nurtures the remnants of his top knot, he's clinging to lost hope. Ooh!
Lost hope!
Howdy. Oh, geez.
You pathetic, useless, fallen samurai! Fallen? What do you call him fallen? My burgeoning growth is...
I don't need a counter argument. What are you talking about? It should be blatantly obvious. I stole the poison, you say. Gave it to the victim, you say. Stabbed her, you say. Lots of fine theories. But I don't need a counter argument, because you don't have an argument yourself. Where's your evidence? Man, people were so well versed in the law back in the 1800s, I will say. And I miss Frank Saw It so much. He was easy. Yes, you make it all sound so plausible, don't you? But without evidence, it means nothing. So, who's gonna burst through the courtroom doors? Is it gonna be Ryunosuke himself? Whereas I base my news on facts.
Facts? What do you mean? Explain yourself. What is a fact? This courtroom has never used a fact in its entire existence.
I mean, what the professor said earlier in this trial. It's all here, in my many, many memos. Every word, every slip of the tongue, all noted. That's what the Shoyu News is famous for. It's the power of the printed word.
But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin.
Get in the pen. In the pen. This is a flashback. It's all in the pen. Independently. How's that then? Blowing the story wide open? See, I write in many memo, a mere reporter from the Shoyu News, couldn't possibly have stolen the poison from the professor's laboratory. More importantly, how do we say curare? Only the people that commit the crimes know the law. Good point. Curare. There you go, Squidgy Bump. But there can't be any question of it. He must have stolen the poison that day. He stole it, and he used it to kill. And if that's the case, as you've identified, the poison itself is the definitive evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day, the true culprit here, is the true culprit here. What's your point, you annoyingly handsome country bumpkin? Oh, handsome. Well, thank you. Well, thank you. You're so handsome, I hate it. Why are you so handsome? Stop looking so dang good. Why, thank you. Wow. My point is this. There is one way that you, Mini Memo-san, could have stolen the poison that day.
I've heard enough verbal conjecture now, thank you. What the court must be shown is evidence.
I'll take annoyingly handsome, that's a compliment.
What proof do you have that this witness stole the poison on the day in question?
Okay, we could test the fountain pen with the chemical reagent, I think. Because he doesn't know about it. There's a little bit of liquid left. I'm gonna say the pen. The pen. You thought that the character was a girl? This is Susato Mikotoba, the daughter of Yujin Mikotoba, who is the man standing next to me. I am currently undercover dressing as a boy because women aren't allowed to be lawyers in the 1800s, apparently. So I'm pretending to be Ryutaro. But that's Susato. And her Susato toss.
Take that!
The proof, Your Excellency, is this fountain pen. Plot twist. Coming in late to the episode.
A fountain pen? How can that possibly be relevant?
These magical pens somehow seem to have enough ink to write many thousands of kanji characters. I believe they arrived in our country for the first time some 15 years ago now. Oh, 15 years.
Bah! I swear by a weasel hair calligraphy brush and nothing else. These newfangled pens are merely a fad.
You love your own hair so much, why don't you use that instead? I'm sure it'll be a rare commodity. 100% ouchie hair. Well, as a forward-thinking man of words, obviously I love my fountain pen. Suck up a soup can of sumptuous ink, and one's work is awash with the words in the blink of an eye. That's right. What he said. Fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel. You would think if somebody's gonna blackmail Ryutaro. I don't know if she puts on this disguise at anywhere else in the game, and if anybody knows, don't tell me. But I have a feeling it's just for this tutorial, but maybe I'm wrong. I would love to see this disguise like come up later. Fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel, into which ink is sucked out through the nib of the pen in order to write with later.
What does all this talking of sucking up ink have with...
And just as it's possible to suck up ink into the reservoir, it's also possible to eject it through the nib again, of course. You know, I'd love to have a fountain pen sometime. They're very fancy.
My word! Can this really be?
Chekhov's gun. Chekhov's gun. That's what... I think the rest of the game you don't even play as her, so... You know. We'll see.
Well, Mini Memo-san.
When you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you? By siphoning the poison up through the nib and into the pen's reservoir.
Objection!
Stop, you lost. He's already dead. Mr. Ouchie.
More absurdity! That never happened!
Dude has zero poker face. And consider that this is like complex compared to the first trial of the first game. Frank saw it, sweating up a storm and being all shaking and rubbing his hands together, like at the first contradiction. It is. I watched the video on like the animation of the Ace Attorney games and how they had to work with very, very limited sprite sets in the first game. So, with all of that memory limitation, they had to convey so many different emotions in these characters. And I need to look up what that channel was. I think it's called New Frame Plus. You know, gaming. Haha. They talked about how like just by varying the speed at which Frank saw it shuffles and sweats, and then sometimes like interjecting minor frames of other animations, you can convey different states of his like breakdown, you know? It's like, oh, he's a little bit nervous, he's shaking, but then later they play the animation faster and he's like shaking and quaking and rolling it around. And just for a single frame, his toupee pops off. Like, yeah, you can see with just such few animations how far he comes to just like snapping. Only like 4 frames, it's amazing. Past Capcom had so much skill. I mean, this modern day Capcom also has skill, but in a different way.
True, we've heard that there were procedures in place to prevent thefts like this from the laboratory. But why would anyone have thought to look inside a fountain pen of all places?
No, I'm a little ashamed to say. And for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed search would not have been conducted.
Well, there you go. Oh, Chekhov, that silly man, always leaving his gun in so many places.
Well, this is quite startling, I must say.
I remind the court that this pen was found in the clutches of the victim when she died. In other words, it was dropped at the scene by Mini Memo-san.
Speaking of animations.
So the crucial question is, when exactly was the pen dropped?
Are you suggesting?
The natural conclusion is that your haste to act while the victim was distracted for a moment. You dropped the pen after you emptied the poison from it into her glass.
Objection!
There could be any number of alternative explanations. For example, the witness could have been using his pen to write down details of this conversation with the victim. And when shocked by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quivering hand.
Objection!
All we gotta do, test that ink on his hand. Or, you know, dare him to lick it.
Come on, lick it. Lick it. Lick it real good.
No, that can't be. If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink?
What?
Do you not check the evidence, Ouchie?
No. I was so confident I'd win. Why would I check the evidence?
As you can see for yourself, if you examine the evidence, it would appear to be no ink present in the reservoir.
What newspaper reporter goes to interview someone with nothing in his pen? No, the pen was dropped after the poison that filled its reservoir had already been emptied into the victim's glass.
Witness, what do you have to say in your defense?
Wait a minute. Whoa! Whoa, where did all these chickens come from? Whoa! 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 Well, you know, this is fine. It's just like a little shower. It feels nice. Oh my god! So this is how our modern justice system works, is it? A bunch of fake chicken bullets. I didn't even feel a thing. Thanks for the bang bang redemption, Wiki. Man, people who come to my YouTube channel after not watching since grade Ace Attorney 1 are gonna be so confused. Channel point redemptions, look them up. It's a Twitch thing. So what if the ink in my pen runs dry? What if my pencil snaps? What if I get bombarded by a giant chicken bomb? Whoa. Well, I guess he's got plenty more. I can always claw my way back into the game. I have plenty in reserve. Oh god, he's Wolverine. Ah! Yo, you gotta stop that. He got cut from Marvel vs. Capcom. Oh no, yeah, they'll bring Mini Memo instead and have him replace Wolverine.
Berserker Mirage!
You know, since he's not even in Infinite. You claim I sucked the poison up into my pen? That's wild speculation, nothing more. I don't suck. If you thought you could bring down a fine, upstanding citizen with a trick like that, suck again!
It looks as though it's going to take one final decisive blow to finish this matter.
What perfect timing. I don't know how they do it, but like, whenever I stream one of these games, it's like a perfect little 3-hour bit in between each court, like, break. It's like so perfect for streaming.
As I see it, the situation is now very simple. It rests upon whether or not this witness did indeed steal the poison on the day in question. And therefore, it all depends on whether or not the defense can prove that he did with evidence.
His Japanese name is Heitamamemomi. Oh yeah, that does match up with Rei's Japanese name, right? Haori something? Yeah, it fits.
Prove it with evidence.
Ha! No such evidence could possibly exist.
Objection!
Man, we've been staring at it for your entire existence of your character model. I recognized it before you even had a name. Many Memo-san, this is how our modern justice system works. Heitamamemomi. Mamemomi. Mamoru? Mame. Edamame? What? In the courtroom, evidence is everything. Something you would do well to remember. Because we are well past the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you! I'm actually bluffing. But he doesn't know that. This is as the Naruhodo family does.
Very well then. I call upon the defense to present the aforementioned evidence. Mamoru?
He's Tuxedo Mask! I can't believe it. He is Tuxedo Mask. This is it then. This will be the final piece of the puzzle. Oh geez, the pressure's on. The defense can prove by means of this item that it was the witness's pen that was used to steal the poison. Oh well, use the reagent. Oh, I want to look at this before. I actually haven't had a chance to check it yet. The label appears to be written in a foreign language that I don't know. English. Ryunosuke knows English. She's an English student, but she did not study that. Oh, it's German. Well, you know, they say English is Germanic.
It's German, so you...
Oh, she does know English. Never mind. I don't know if she knows it as well as Ryunosuke, but yeah, okay. She does know English. She did display that property in the first game. How could I have forgotten? Raimf. Yes, Raimf, my favorite German word.
It's German, so your knowledge of English is going to be of little help here, I'm afraid.
Couldn't you have just have written medicine on it in Japanese? Then we'd all be able to read it, but it's not medicine.
German is the international language of medicine, my dear.
Oh, is this before science unilaterally switched to Latin?
But yes, I can certainly see the merit in labeling the bottle in Japanese. Though I'm not sure medicine would be entirely appropriate.
Can I look at the dropper? Not really. I like that they went through the effort of modeling it, though.
Counsel, what is that bottle?
Ah, yes. It says... What does it say? It says...
Schmetterling.
Butterfly? Yes.
It's the only German word I know. I'm sorry. I had to label it in German. I had to write something down.
This bottle contains the unique chemical reagent that can identify the poison in question.
It's just very convenient that the reagent is made of crushed up butterflies. Ah! Yes, that poison is an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids developed by my colleagues and I.
Either way, Google Translate doesn't... I don't think... No, they did that in the first game, where anything that was in English in a very thick accent was written like using fake letters that looked like cursive writing. So I think this is their way of saying like, oh yeah, you can't read this, which is actually really cool. Because now that the game is localized, they don't have to like fake it with like real English. Hey, Defend Corps, how you doing? It's been a while. I'm giving this warning to everybody rating in. This is the second game in the Great Ace Attorney duology, Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. So if you don't want spoilers, well, for this game, but also for the first Great Ace Attorney, even though this game came out yesterday, I already played the first game on a fan translation a long time ago. So if you need to jump out, by all means, please do. But welcome on in. How you doing? How was Jackbox? Hope you had a fun time. Welcome on in, Shadow Gamer, Dilda Pickle. It's been a while. It's been a long time. Taylor, welcome, welcome. Yeah. And thanks for the raid. Hope you guys had a fun time. My name is Chris. I play a lot of Nintendo games, RPGs, and, you know, the occasional Ace Attorney. I played the Great Ace Attorney a long time ago. Loved it. Was waiting for this official translation for the longest time. And we're in it. We are right at the cusp of finding out what exactly was behind this mysterious murder. So sit back, enjoy the show. Lots of fun. I'm glad. Sit back, enjoy the voice acting, and yeah, I'll try to keep the pace flowing. That's not. This is German. Does anybody read German? It's not German. Yeah.
It would be impossible to detect traces of it by any other method.
Or, from another perspective, simply with this chemical reagent, anybody at all could check for traces of the poison.
The reagent? What?
One drop of the contents of this bottle on the tip of your fountain pen, Minimemo-san, is all it will take to solve this case beyond all reasonable doubt. No, you can't. I won't. Your crimes are bad enough, but at least know when to admit defeat. Your Excellency, the defense requests permission to carry out the test on the fountain pen at once. Don't throw your pencils again. They might be laced with poison now. Whoa, hey, stop! That's expensive equipment!
This isn't my fault! It's this conspiracy trying to hold its head. I took up arms in the form of the mighty pen. I fought China on the battlefield of the just involved in my
Whoa!
Oh, damn! I'm there! Yeah! Suzato toss! With some Ray assistance.
Yeah. Suzato toss! I've been waiting for this moment.
Yes! They call it Suzato takedown in this official localization. I'm I'm a little disappointed, but I that made up for it.
Did I do it right? That was a Susato takedown, wasn't it?
It sure was, Ray. It sure was. That was a big toss. Did you see that animation? I want to save that. Strong. Look at these queens. Not quite. That was a Ryutaro takedown. Okay, sure. Yeah, okay. A Ryutaro takedown requires the help of your best friend. The instant the first drop of the reagent touched the nib of the fountain pen, it was clear to everyone present. I'm wondering why they never brought up the smudge on his hand. I guess that's just part of his design. Huh. Yeah, okay then. I still wouldn't lick that, though. Just because it smudges over what he writes. Yeah, holds up a 10. Aw, yeah. Susato and Ray win the Olympic gold medal for judo flipping, apparently. Yeah. Fenkor's got a guy. Hey, no problem. You raided in at a good time to see the epic conclusion, so have a good night. Thanks for the raid, and anybody coming on in, you have a good night as well. You know, and I recommend this game. Ace Attorney series is fantastic. Gina tapped in at the funniest moment. You sure did. That was perfect timing. Let's go. Guess I'll come clean. Sure beats dying. He's going to jail anyway. Yeah. No. Remember, kids. Remember, physical violence gets you to reveal all your secrets in court. Just look at how it works for Francisca and her whippity whip. What I saw there in the lab, when I saw it there, the poison for Cusco, the poison for Giselle, the devil got a hold of me and I decided to do it on a whim. I excused myself and emptied all the ink down the sink in the bathroom, washing the reservoir out carefully. And then you waited for an opportunity to suck up some of the poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen. The smudge is not in his official art. That is interesting. Yes, that's right. Lupin never gets caught. Unfortunately, he is not Lupin. We all know you want to get whipped by Francisca. I am pleading the fifth. Oh, that doesn't work. This is Japan. There is no Fifth Amendment. Oops. Answer me one more thing, Mini-Memo-san. Why did you steal it? For what purpose? Isn't it obvious? To find out what it was made of and expose it in an article. I mean, it was a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journal like me to pass up. But then one thing led to another and you got caught up in revenge, huh?
Then why did the English woman end up dead?
Lupin, more like Dupin.
What?
I went into that hut intending to quiz her on their situation. That's all. As a reporter. A known killer enjoying full freedom? Evading justice by leaving the country? I told her what I thought about it. And she just laughed in my face! Yeah, Giselle will do that. Trust me, Mini-Memo. Like, her absolute smug attitude got to me at points as well, but you gotta be an upstanding citizen about it. And also, you know, I was in a court of law, so I do not... Ryunosuke does not have the Susato takedown, sadly enough. Really just murdered her over an interview. And you know, the whole being a smug murderer thing. With a bird on her head. Is there Japanese text on the bird? Or is that just squiggles? Brett. Oh, what's this? A Far Eastern caveman purporting to practice journalism. Caveman, maybe I should have, like, warned about this earlier, but if the first game is anything to go by, there is, like, I can't even, like, I can't even like dance around it word-wise. There's straight up racism in this game because a big part of it is how like Japanese people are foreign to everyone in England, and Ryunosuke and Susato going to England just become very, very like easy targets for people to like prey upon how much little they know about the two cultures. I think it's handled in a way that makes sense, especially because it takes place in 1800s, but that's just something to keep in mind. This game, the relations between countries are very, very, like, purposefully kind of bad. So I'll say no more about that. You'll get that from the game. But again, the game's about, like, proving that wrong and how, like, it was old-fashioned and it was wrong at the time. You know? Really? You must learn the difference between reporting and listening at doorways, you ignorant plebeian. What did you call me? In this country, with its pretensions to a justice system, to a free press, it really is very depressing. You see, our superior ways in the West, yet you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. Get out of here, you oaf. Get out and crawl back into the cave you came from. You'd say it's realistic, but still sad. Very sad. Like, I know I feel offended by it. I think that's the point. So, I'm not gonna get mad at Capcom. I'm getting mad at, like, ancient people of Great Britain that... I'm not getting mad at Britain, but these characters that live in ancient Great Britain. Okay, stop. I'm not gonna talk about that anymore. You get what I mean. That's when I remembered. About the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time. Keyright says, also welcome on in, there's no actual slurs in the official translation. I'd imagine that Capcom of America had to be very careful, that's for sure.
What a terrible fate!
It seems you've suffered a terrible fate, haven't you?
In my head, I knew I should just get out of there as quickly as possible. But I couldn't. I couldn't let her get away with what she'd done. She clearly had no remorse at all. I suppose it was my journal spirit getting all fired up. I'd like to ask you something. Yes? You often talk about justice. But surely as a journalist, you could have used other means to deliver the justice you sought. There's no justice in the press. Sorry? After that trial 9 months ago, I kept digging and digging to find out what had happened in that courtroom. Finally, I discovered the truth. It was a cover-up! That's what it was! Oh, hey? A cover-up? What do you mean?
I would remind you of your position, witness. Be careful of what you say.
Oh, is the judge in on it? How deep does this go? Now, at the end of the first game, there was this bit of information that we couldn't really tell how it was important, but something that goes deep, something that, like, is hidden from the public, is happening, involving the characters, or at least, like, people in their family. So, I wonder if he's about to allude to that. Oh, come on! Doesn't it strike you as strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign national. Consular jurisdiction should never have come into it. And yet that puffed-up Englishwoman was gonna sail away into the sunset a free woman. The only possible explanation is that behind the scenes, some deal had gone down between Britain and Japan. What sort of deal? I'd done my research, dug up all the dirt. It was all ready to be published. But you know what happened? The editor just tore the article up!
He came under pressure from the government, you mean?
If our government is going to let criminals walk free, they're gonna crush the free press, then what choice do I have but to see that justice is done myself? He was there? You mean the judge? That was in the English courts. This is Japan again. We haven't been in the Japanese court since the first trial of the first game. He wasn't there for the conspiracy thing. Vigilantism, huh? Let's not forget Minimemo-san. That you committed murder yourself, and you tried to lay the blame at the defendant's door. I'm sorry, but you're no better than Giselle Brett. I think that's the spiciest insult she said all night. Ah! The truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all. I suppose.
It would appear that we have reached a conclusion in this trial at last.
Thanks for the follow, by the way.
Counsel for the defense, Ryotaro Naruhodo.
Oh yeah, that's me. Yes. Ahem. Sorry, Your Excellency. Just musing in a manly way here because I am totally a man. Yes.
It's almost unbelievable that this is your first experience of the Supreme Court. It was an excellent performance. In truth, it very much reminded me of your cousin's exploits.
Don't they have, like, paperwork and official badges to verify that I am who I say I am? Did, like, Professor Mikotoba, like, just fake all those documents? I bet he had to. Oh, Naruhodo's, Ryunosuke, you mean? This chapter was so good. It is! Like, as much as there's a little bit of, you know, excess dialogue, I feel, like, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think, as far as I've played, the first Great Ace Attorney has some of my favorite just writing and plot in all the Ace Attorney series, and that's why I'm so excited for the second game, because it's got to be, like, the same level of quality. Like, sure, it doesn't have all the same characters we're familiar with. Sure, it sometimes doesn't have the same sense of humor, but it's got Herlock Sholmes. It's got humor. It's got a fresh sense of, like, writing these wacky characters you can feel for, and doesn't necessarily have to rely on references to past games. Like, if I didn't know that this was Ace Attorney, I could have believed that it was, like, a totally separate game. Thanks for the hydrate. I do deserve it after all this. If they didn't have those little ties back to modern day, like, you could totally believe this is a totally separate series. Yeah. So, I'm very excited. Very, very excited. Who needs paper trails?
The way he handled the trial 9 months ago and the way you handled this one, it gives me hope that we are genuinely entering a new era of justice in this land.
Well, keep waiting, Judge. It doesn't get much better, at least for a while. Wait until 2016. That's very flattering, Your Excellency.
Hearing the defense you put forward today made me feel most keenly that the future of our justice system will be forged by you and your contemporaries. Hopefully they're as aggressively handsome as you.
Thank you, I think.
So, Professor...
I keep saying Professor.
Prosecutor Ouchie, do you have any final thoughts?
As your hair just like, what are you doing? What is that? No, put your, what are you doing, the Yakuza pinky thing? What are you doing? Get away! No, I do not. I am traumatized by the Yakuza series. For Prosecutor Ouchie! Takatsuki of the Ouchie clan,
have been bested by a callow youth not once now, but twice. If there was any shred of my former self left, it has withered and died here today.
Gosh, your journey to cultural enlightenment sure took a while, didn't it?
Silence!
Is he gonna cut off his seed? He's gonna cut off his seed.
Rather than living on in shame, I will end it all now with this blade.
Oh, it's so dramatic.
For that is a true path to ouchieism.
Okay, don't. Ouchie-ism?
One hopes that's the only way in which he'll be modeling himself after the witness.
He's gonna do it himself. He's cutting his hair. Yes, okay, good. This game's rated T. I think.
Sprig of my top knot. The time is right for farewell. Hope is lost forever. Taketsuchi.
That's a haiku. Refrigerator. Oh.
That must have been a really sharp knife.
Pour one out for the last of his top knot. You may not know, but that... As a fan of the series, for a pain/ouchie to willingly cut off the last bit of his hair, that is huge character development. He's admitted defeat with honor. Man, why couldn't his great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson be as honorable? Jeez, dude. Pour one out. Pour one out. Oh, perfect. I love this so much.
Now, in regard to the defendant, Rei Membami-san,
Yes, Your Excellency.
I have reached my final verdict. I hereby find you not guilty.
Ouchie is honorable. Pain's just a sleazeball. Exactly. We must look to our ancestors.
Court is adjourned.
Who invited the Banshees? That's just the cheering crowd. Of Shy Guys, apparently. Gumshoe's ancestor must have been the one who prepped the pedals. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Since he's the one that cuts up the confetti in the modern day. What would Gumshoe's ancestor be called? Would they use his Japanese name? It's not really the same kind of pun, though. 13th August, 2:38 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants Antechamber 3. Lost one. Oh, we won, baby. We won. It was a long fight. But that reporter, his story is a little cut. It's over. My heart is still pounding in my chest, though. It's all I can do to just stay standing.
Him.
Lawyers have such great responsibility, such a great burden to bear. Don't they, Naruhodo-san? Meanwhile, Ryunosuke is off in England, and he's like, what? Did somebody say something? Hello? He's just like drinking tea because it's like morning over there.
Susato! Susato! Thank you! Thank you so much! You were so dashing in there!
Ray! And Father!
Honestly, I'm so touched by everything you... Oh no! I think I'm going to cry!
It's okay, let it all out! Your life just got saved! It wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears at the end, too. Especially with that cool-ass toss we did. Wow.
The only reason I'm still here is because of you.
Oh no, I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, Ray. So I would have to say that the congratulations belong to you. As long as those tears don't have poison. Whoa! Now that's a third type of poison we haven't found out yet. How do we detect that? We don't know yet. Thanks for the follow, by the way. I have anonymous follows on just in case people with questionable names follow, but I'll have you know it's still all appreciated.
Susato, don't be so standoffish.
Sorry?
We're friends, equals.
Tomodachi.
After the trial's over, so no more of this formal super humility nonsense. It's time to celebrate with swagger, to throw caution to the wind.
Whoa, we're going to the hot springs? Let's go! Oh, yeah, we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna go to an old-fashioned ryokan. It's gonna be soothing. And we are gonna take a bath the right way. Right, rinse, left, rinse. Right, lift, rinse, left, rinse. Balance on that upside-down bucket, then get into the water. Get out when your eyes pop open. Perfect. Then you get a kiss from a stone lion. Caution to the... What?
I'm the great defense lawyer, Ryotaro Naruhodo, and I'm taking you out at a milk bar tomorrow.
Milk bar? Heck yeah! Let's go.
Or something.
What do you drink at a milk bar? Just regular old milk? Or is it like some sort of special cream? Maybe it's like heavy cream used for whipped cream and it's so rich and tasty? I don't know. I don't even know if milk bars were real. I thought they were made up from Majora's Mask. Somebody's played Tulip. Maybe. Right, I see. I'll think about it, Ray. We could go for burgers. I hear those are all the rage these days.
Eat your hamburgers, Apollo.
Eat your chicken, Asugi.
At any rate, we really knocked the wind out of that horrid man, and it felt so good.
Ooh, some Chateau Romani. Don't mind if I do.
Yes, it was satisfying. It really was. Isn't there anyone else we could throw together?
Why are you looking at my dad? Hold on. He invented this, the Mikotobo toss. Don't you even try it.
I hope you're not looking at me, Ray.
Oh my goodness! No, of course not! Of course not!
Ah, there it is at last. Ray's lovely smile. It do be adorable, though. Eat your veggies. There's a restaurant called Milk Bar. Oh, really? I'd like to visit. That's in Japan, right?
You fought for your life, for your friend, to the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you, defense attorney Ryotaro Naruhodo.
Thank you. But I couldn't have done it without your help. Anyway, it's time to bid farewell to Ryotaro, I think. I shall miss him in a way, but it's back to Susato Mikotoba now. For now, you know, we got that in our back pocket for later. Maybe at some point she has to like sub out for Ryunosuke when he's like detained in some way. Maybe he gets kidnapped. Oh, I can't wait. Maybe it's gonna be like Maya getting kidnapped in that one game. I forget which one. I think the second one.
So, I'll never see him again then. What a terrible shame.
Ray. Who?
What?
Oh.
What? What is happening?
Ah, Sosaki-san and Inspector Hosonaga. I do hope you've been keeping well.
Do they know that I'm Oh, they don't know yet. Oh, yeah. They do know her from the first trial, the first game. I can't believe they didn't see through it the whole time. Wow, good disguise. Is that really you?
Yes, I had to change my appearance for obvious reasons, I hope, but it's me, Susato Mikotoba.
Don't. So dashing, so divine. No!
Doubly dashing, yes, and the devilishly divine. Delightfully devilish, Seymour. Just look at you. I had no idea, Miss Susato-san Esquires, that you were locum student Naruhodo-san Esquire's cousin. No. Astonishingly astounding. Ace Attorney. Oh, look at that title drop. Very first mention of Ace Attorney, chronologically, you heard it here first, folks, penned by So Sexy Natsume himself. Wow, who would have guessed? Probably said in Japanese like, what a great turnabout in the courtroom. Whoa. Poor Soseki-san. Oh, there's the Soseki we know and love. Oh, so confused. Very gullible. He's just eccentric. Oh yeah, there he is. First time we met him, he was in an English jail, in a prison cell. I know there's a difference between a jail and a prison. I can't really tell you the definition right now, but there actually is a difference. Oh, you know, I wonder if this version says jail but spelled G-A-O-L. Because that's what they did in the fan translation, because that's how you spelled jail in those days. I remember the first time I ever met him. He was in a prison cell in London. Is Soseki your standard Larry Butts? No, wait, he's a famous actual figure from history, though. We can't reduce him to Larry. He's just very, very eccentric. He's like if Laurice Donim actually wrote good books. What an extraordinary conundrum it was that the unwitting student from Japan found himself embroiled in. Just did and will. Well, we'll agree to disagree. Man, I never thought Hosonaga and Soseki would appear together. They work well together. But after Naruhodo-san's skillful defense at the Old Bailey, Soseki-san was so free to return to Japan. Yo, check it out. This is what the English courts look like, with the fancy judge with the fancy combed hair and the frilly beard, and there's this giant scale. Time to tip the scales. And you got this jury behind, listening to all the testimony. Yeah, these are people from the first game right here. And depending on which side of the argument is winning, whether it's the defense or the prosecution, like the scales visibly tip, because like the jurors vote by like pressing a button or something, and a flame jumps out into the scales. It's really dang cool and so extra. And now he seems to have earned himself great fame as an author. He wrote the cat book. I'm stunned. That's truly an impressive disguise. Even I had no idea, and I'm a chief inspector at the police bureau. Who came up with Mr. Turtle, no less? Look at it, it has like physics. It bounces his head. I'm not sure you should be admitting to that, Inspector. I like Mr. Turtle. Amazing. You're a woman of many faces, I see. Just two, really. And this was a once-in-a-lifetime event. I hope. Oh, I'm not a patch on you, though, Inspector. Not a patch? Not a patch on you, though, Inspector. Well, I am a professional, of course. Did you see his glasses sparkle? Wipe your mouth. I do worry about Inspector Hosonaga sometimes. I really do. You could barely see the prosecutor's silhouette in that scene. I bet. The way I'm looking at my monitor isn't a very good angle, so I actually like get a lot of shadow when I look at my own screen, but it looks fine on the OBS. As long as I can read the text, it's fine for me. 9 months ago, when he appeared here at the Supreme Court to testify, he was undercover, disguised as the head waiter of a restaurant. Oh yeah, and he was the sailor boy. And then on the steamship to Great Britain, of course, disguised as a sailor to keep us safe on the journey. Oh, okay, spoilers. Though that didn't help you, did it, Kazuma-sama? It didn't. But his legacy lives on. From my perspective, I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about all this. I mean, now that the truth has been lost forever. Truth? What do you mean? I'm talking about the murder that the Englishwoman committed at the end of last year.
Ah, yes. It was an English doctor she killed, as I understand it.
Dr. John H. Wilson Watson, yes. The man I invited to Japan personally.
The mystery is, why did she kill him? We never did get an answer to that, did we? And now that the culprit herself is dead, we'll probably never know the answer. Maybe. On the voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter with Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It's real. That's his name. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm too tired to laugh. The great detective, I mean. Yes, I remember Mr. Sholmes well, of course. He pointed that chicken gun at me. Wasn't very threatening. This is what you need to do to get Asogi to eat his chicken. You just gotta threaten him with it. Eat the chicken, Asogi. Eat it! Ah, my arch nemesis. How lightly you utter his name. What? Arch nemesis? What, are you Arsène Lupin now? Well, according to the stories published about him in The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, written by... or, you know, Iris Wilson Watson. The detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes. A best friend. And that man was an exceptional doctor in medicine by the name of John H. Watson Wilson.
What? Dr. Wilson Watson?
Close enough. I just can't believe that it's a coincidence. I think that the English doctor of medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago must have been the friend and partner of Mr. Sholmes. And if that's really true, then the poor girl won't ever see her beloved father again. Now, I forget if they ever even mention that John Watson is Iris Watson's father. Do they say that? I think they kind of avoided talking about John Watson at all in the first game. Because, you know, it would have come up that, oh yeah, he's dead.
As you know, I traveled to Great Britain once myself to study. It was around the time you were born.
They haven't said it yet. I think this is the first time in the series, then, that they even hint at it. Yes, grandmother told me about it.
On returning to Japan, I took up my professorship at the Imperial Yume University, but I also serve another role as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs.
Yes, I was aware of that as well.
In that case, I'm sure you understand that there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you.
You remember that that Iris mentions it once, that her dad's overseas, and Ryo and Susato just go, sounds about right. Yeah, so I guess they just kind of avoid the topic. This game is probably the reason why they wanted to save it for this. So I'm excited. It's taken me 2 years to find this out finally.
Could you just tell me one thing? Why did you summon me back to Japan?
Did I do that?
Did I do that?
It's been 2 months now since I returned. When I left England, it was because an urgent telegram had arrived from Japan. It said that you collapsed with a high fever and you were growing weaker by the day.
Was that a lie?
What? Where did that news come from? That's what I'd like to know, because after that long sea voyage, I found you in fine health, Father. Was there something in Great Britain that you perceived might inconvenience me in some way, or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of. And we left poor Ryunosuke over there by himself? The man's a wreck without an assistant. Who knows how many trials he's losing right now? Oh, geez.
Dear me. Do you reserve your most cutting glares for your father, Susato?
Yes. If you can't glare at your own family, who can you glare at? Oh, let me go! Ha! 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 Who? Where? Why? What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be arrested? Shouldn't you be in jail? Manny Memo-san!
So, one throw wasn't enough for you.
Toss him! Toss him! Toss him! I've got one last thing to say before they take me away. Professor?
Me?
Why does he have a pointy? He shouldn't have a pointy. It's okay, it's not laced with poison as far as I know. I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. And that visiting student's fate. That's why he has the pointy, to break it one last time. Visiting student? Giselle Bread, you mean? No, not her! The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago! What? Student of law? He must mean... Naruhodo. Kazuma-san! Oh, yeah, the original student of law. What are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with Kazuma-sama? Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England. That he died on that steamship. They don't? That'll never... Ah! What? What? The judge tossed him? It was me? Oh, hello.
Justice, toss.
Oh, we got a regular Zangief over here.
I am the Red Cyclone.
Wait, Capcom game. Yeah, he's Zangief. Ooh. Didn't know that martial arts was just part of practicing law in Japan. Let's go.
Well, I didn't expect to find him in here. What were you officers playing at?
He'd be Zangief's great-great-great-grandfather. Of course. Before his family somehow ended up in Russia. This is the first time in a traditional Ace Attorney game where we see the judge not in his chair. I guess if you don't count investigations, then yeah. He's just out and about. You have legs? Terribly sorry, Your Excellency. 11. Man, take back the Olympic gold. Give him the Olympic platinum. Not even a thing, but we'll invent it just for the judge. Look at this. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. I am going to absolutely adore this game for sure. He's a big man. He's not just imposing in the chair. No. He's just standing behind that large podium.
I was coming to tell you that the rickshaw has arrived. Eugen, and it's a good job I came by. Yes, thank you for dealing with him. And I'll be there shortly.
Oh, Your Excellency.
The trial's over. I'm not Your Excellency anymore. Merely your father's friend, Seishiro Jigoku.
He has a name? They gave the judge a name? What? Everything I know is falling apart at the seams. You know, Mikoto, but that doesn't that like violate like people involved in the case shouldn't be the ones presiding over it? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. The judge has a name. He's not just like Uji or Judgy. Is Seishiro Jigoku just like the Japanese term for a Supreme Court judge or something? What the devil is this? He has a name. He's real.
And may I say that since I saw you last, you seem to have taken on a more dashing appearance.
He knew it was Susato the whole time.
Susato?
Of course, friend of her father. He has to know her his daughter. Did you know all along? From the start of the trial?
A judge sees everything, Susato. I couldn't let you take the risk. If Seishiro here hadn't known and then he'd recognized you. So I had a word in his ear beforehand, as an old friend.
Okay, fair enough. Yo, making me stress out this whole time. Thanks, Dad.
So, Seishiro, shall we? I know this fantastic milk bar we can visit. Yes, having ruled on that case, we now have various diplomatic issues to address.
Before you go, Father.
Sorry, my dear. We shall have to return to our earlier conversation at a later date.
Why is that one sentence so ominous? We'll talk about it later. In Ace Attorney, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk at a later date. We can talk about it tomorrow. Man, I'm just getting serious Mia vibes right now. Mikotoba, stay safe, please.
But well done again, both of you. You did admirably.
Just gonna die in 10 minutes. Please, no!
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you for clarifying that was a joke. I had a feeling sometimes people do come in here and actually just spoil it, and I'm like,
Why would you tell me that?
but no, yeah. I really hope he doesn't.
What did you think of my sessular sling, eh?
Sling?
It's been a while since I sent a man flying like that.
A while? When was the last time?
Oh, it was your father. We were sparring.
We'll talk about it later. Just means next murder victim. No. Whatever could father be hiding from me? Hiding? If he gets murdered in the next chapter, then he'll never tell us. About Giselle Brett? About Dr. Wilson Watson Wilson? And now, it seems according to the reporter, about Kazuma-sama? Does everyone Susato knows have a toss? Yeah, it runs in the family, and the close friends, of course. The Mikotoba line, the Mikotoba line's best friends. I'm going to have to bring this up with father sometime, and nobody else is around. Oh, hi, Sasaki. Judicial Assistant Mikotoba-san Escaris. Could I have a word? Oh, yes, of course, Sasaki-san. What is it? I think perhaps it could be fate that we're meeting up again like this now. You see, there's something I need to tell you. Oh? I believe that it may be related to the reason why your father summoned you back from England. This I have to hear. Please, Sasaki-san, tell me at once.
I will.
As you know, my time in England was terrible, cursed. I have no doubt. Such awful things I was embroiled in. Thank goodness locum student Naruhodo-san Esquire stepped in. After he secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on a ship back here to my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, I submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father, Professor Mikotoba. He wanted to ask me all sorts of things about my report. My father? Well, if he's in charge of foreign affairs, then yes. He seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day that he sent the telegram to you asking you to return to Japan. Now, what did it all mean? What was it then? What was it then? That's my line, sorry. The particular part my father was interested in. I don't really know what exactly. But, do you remember them? Those two terrible cases I was caught up in? Of course, I can never forget. Your father seemed to concern himself mainly with the second case. The second one? You mean the one Mr. Shones forbade any of us to talk about in public? Why are we talking about it? That's forbidden. Which is why the only case involving you that any member of the public is aware of is the first. Well, I don't care. I have to listen to what that dastardly detective says. Anyway, the point is, it seems that case somehow holds the key to all these curious unanswered questions. I'm gonna have to look up what that second case was about. I told myself I'd replay the first game off stream before this game came out. But that first case is so long, I only got through the first case. And that's me like speed reading everything and like just mashing through the fast forward button and presenting it just evidence, and that's the only thing that was slow about the whole thing. It is really long. It seems that case somehow holds key to all these curious unanswered questions. I don't need to look it up? Okay. I mean, they'll probably talk about it again. That horrific, heinous, hideous case. The case of the haunted lodgings. So Sapphire sent it to bed. Hey, I think we're just about done here as well. Yeah, have a good night, Soul Sapphire. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you found the case riveting, and have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow, eh? The case somehow caused my father to summon me urgently back to Japan. I thought the whole business was over, but it seems I was wrong. Perhaps that was only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told. Perhaps we're gonna save, and we're just gonna have to talk about it next time. Oh, wait, cutscene.
So, the mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better. How you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san. But actually, I'm writing to you today because of another matter. I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in. Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again. Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue. It makes me long to see you again.
Yeah.
Yours, Susato.
Oh, yours, huh? Oh, I have such a big smile. Oh, I'm sus. I have such a big smile on my face. Thank you for that glorious moment, Tuffy-mon. He was only involved in one case in the first game. Oh, I was wondering. N chicken. I was wondering if my memory was failing me or if there was really just one. That's okay. I see why. So that's why I didn't have to look it up. Because it didn't happen in the first game. It happened off screen. And Holmes said, hey, nobody talk about this. That way we can pretend that it never happened and then the first game can proceed as planned. Okay then. Well, alright. I'm guessing the second trial of this game might be a flashback to then. Don't give me the answer to that, but we're gonna have to see then. Next week. Because tomorrow's Skyward Sword, and I'm done streaming for this week after that. No streams this weekend, so, yeah. Thank you! Thank you, everybody! Because I'm so happy that this game is finally out and it meets all my expectations, both from Capcom of America for their localization and the way that it continues the story of the first one. It's as if I played. I'm also a big shout out to Scarlet Study just because they made the first fan translation so good. I can seamlessly play the second game as if I had played the official first one. Maybe not so totally seamlessly, Sholmes, but it's just so professional, and I'm just so happy that there's more Ace Attorney in this world for me to play. Capcom, keep making this series. We love it. We will pay for it. I swear. I swear, please. You're all welcome for the stream. Let's see if there's any art. But yeah, there's plenty more of this to come. There's not really much I need to say about this game. It's so good. And I just want to keep playing more. Apparently, Many Memo's official art has no eyebrows. Wow, that's cursed. Wow, that's really cursed. Wow, I hate it. What, really? It kind of just looks like they were edited out, like there's just shadow. Well, okay, that makes him look a lot more sus than he actually ended up being. Well, that's not stream art, but it's art that somebody made. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome, everybody. Yeah, it's very interesting how things change when they finally translate it to the 3D model, huh? But, yeah. Yeah, no stream art, but if you as always, if you have it, post it to the Discord or tweet it at me, and I'll put it up. The room has much art from over the years, and I like to keep it around as long as I can, unless OBS like suddenly deletes it or something. But yeah, everybody, thank you for being here. As always, follow me on Twitch to catch me live next time I play this or any other game. YouTube for past VODs if you want to just, you know, binge watch a series like maybe the first Great Ace Attorney. Or, you know, Ace Attorney Investigations. I've also played that on stream. It's all there. It's all there. And, you know, those are the links for the Discord, the Twitter, all that good stuff. And, yeah, if you need to go to sleep, I will let you. Have a good night and bye-bye. But if you're coming along on the raid, then you need to stick around. Or not. It's up to you. I will not force anybody to come if they don't want to. Yeah. Alright, YouTube video. Bye-bye, y'all. Good to see you all again. I hope you didn't miss me too much.